Your focus is the most powerful tool you have. And right now, it might be slipping away. But what if you could take control of your mind and use that focus to drive you towards success? What if you could stop feeling distracted, overwhelmed, and stuck, and start channeling your energy into the things that really matter? In this video, we're going to explore exactly how to focus your mind, cut through distractions, and stay clear on your goals. I'll show you simple strategies that will not only boost your focus, but help you build the mental strength needed to achieve anything you want. The world is full of distractions, but when you learn to control your focus, everything starts to change. Stay with me. This is the first step toward taking control of your life and making real progress. Number 1, write down what you must focus on daily. Focus. It's not something you stumble into. It's something you earn every single day. And the first step to earning that focus, the real kind, the kind that can change your life, is simple. You sit down and write it down. You write down what matters, not in your head, not just a passing thought. No, you put it on paper. You write down what you must focus on daily. That's where it begins. Most people wake up and just roll into their day. No direction, no target, no structure. They start checking their phone, scrolling through someone else's life, responding to every message, listening to noise. Then they wonder why their life feels out of control, why they're behind, why they feel like they're drowning in stress. I'll tell you why. They never stop to decide what actually deserves their focus. If you don't write it down, your mind will chase everything. Everything loud, everything urgent, everything shiny. But not everything urgent is important, and not everything loud deserves your attention. There's a difference between what screams at you and what actually shapes your life. You want control. Write it down. Grab a pen. Grab a piece of paper. Sit still. Ask yourself this question. What do I really need to focus on today? Not what looks fun. Not what feels easy. What do I need to do? What actually moves me forward? What builds me? What strengthens my body? What sharpens my mind? What brings peace to my life? What builds my income? What builds my family? What builds my future? You don't write those things down. They disappear. Life distracts you. People pull at you. Notifications eat up your day. And before you know it, you're tired but you didn't build anything. You were busy but not productive. You were moving but not going anywhere. That's what happens when your focus is left to chance. When you write it down, you create structure. You give your mind something to obey, and the mind loves structure. You tell it what matters, and it will start filtering the rest out. You'll feel different, more steady, more clear. You'll start saying no more often. Not because you're rude, because you finally know what deserves a yes. People think focus is about doing more. No, it's about doing less with more intensity. It's not about getting everything done. It's about getting the right things done. And you'll never know what those right things are if you don't take the time to write them down. You're not going to feel like doing it. Most days, your mind will want to drift. You'll want to check messages, watch something, avoid something. That's natural. But if you've got it written in front of you, black and white, on paper, it brings you back. It holds you accountable. It reminds you that you have something important to take care of. If you can't hold a simple habit, like writing down your priorities, how do you expect to hold big dreams in your life? If you can't sit with yourself in the quiet, how will you ever hear what your future is asking of you? You have to respect your focus, protect it, and build it. And writing it down each day is the foundation of that. Some people think this is too simple, too basic. That's the problem. They want complicated solutions. They think if something's not difficult, it won't work. That's wrong. Simplicity builds clarity. Clarity builds direction. Direction builds momentum. Momentum builds discipline. And discipline builds the life you want. It's not about having the perfect plan. It's not about having every detail figured out. It's about deciding today what matters and making sure you don't forget it. It's about looking at that list when your mind starts drifting and reminding yourself, this is what matters. This is where I put my time. This is where I put my effort. You don't need motivation all the time. You need direction, because motivation fades. Emotions change. Some mornings you wake up tired. Some days you're frustrated. But when you've written it down, you don't need to think. You don't need to decide all over again. You already know what to do. You already made the choice. You just follow it. When you write it down, you're not just making a list. You're setting a standard. You're saying, these are my non-negotiables. You're reminding yourself of what you refuse to ignore. That changes the way you walk into your day. You're not guessing anymore. You're not reacting. You're executing. You're owning the day before it owns you. This habit, it's not about being perfect. You'll miss days. You'll get distracted. That's human. But the key is returning to it. Don't stay lost. Come back. Sit down. Write it again. Reset. Realign. Refocus. You only stay off course when you stop checking your course. That's what this habit gives you. A way back. A way to recenter. Think about the stress you've carried from trying to hold everything in your head. The mental weight. The chaos. The racing thoughts. All because you didn't take 10 minutes to clarify your focus. That's what writing it down solves. It lightens the mind. It sharpens the day. It brings peace to the chaos. You want to feel stronger? Write down what builds your strength. You want to feel more confident? Write down what proves your discipline. You want to feel less overwhelmed? Write down what you can actually control. Every emotion you're chasing starts with focus. Every breakthrough you want is on the other side of clarity. Don't underestimate this. Don't wait for some big moment to fix your life. That moment is right now, with a blank sheet of paper. With a choice to sit down, think, and decide. This is how change begins. Not in a crowd, not in a rush, but in a quiet moment where you say, today, this is where I give my attention. You want real power, real control, real peace. You earn it by choosing your focus daily. You write it down, you read it, you act on it, and you repeat. Over and over. Not for a week, not for a month, for life. That's how you build something that lasts. Most people will never do this. They'll say they're too busy. They'll say it doesn't work. They'll keep winging it, and they'll keep getting the same scattered results. But you're not most people. You're serious. You're intentional. You're building something real. And you know what it takes? Daily focus. Not hype, not noise. Focus. Built brick by brick, page by page, day by day. You stop looking for miracles and start living with discipline. You stop chasing every option and commit to a path. And that starts when you sit down and write it all down. If you're tired of confusion, choose clarity. If you're tired of stress, choose structure. If you're tired of wasting time, choose direction. It's all there, inside you, waiting for you to stop, breathe, and write. You can't change your life all at once, but you can change today. You can focus today. And if you focus today, and you keep doing that again tomorrow, then the next day, you won't have to chase results. They'll start showing up. Slowly at first, then faster, because focused action compounds. And it always beats scattered motion. So sit down today. Clear your head. Get honest. No filters. No pretending. Just ask yourself, what needs my full attention today? Write it. Look at it. Honor it. Then go do it. That's how you focus your mind. That's how you take your power back. That's how you build a life you can be proud of. Number 2, train your emotions to stay calm and focused. Most people lose focus, not because they don't know what to do, but because they haven't learned how to manage their emotions. You can have the best plan, the clearest goals, the most detailed to-do list, but if your emotions take over, your day slips out of your hands. Distraction starts in the mind, but it's driven by emotion. The truth is, until you train your emotions to stay calm and focused, your life will always feel out of control. Your mind follows your emotional state. When you feel stressed, you search for comfort. When you feel anxious, you look for escape. When you're bored, you reach for something easy. These moments may seem small, but they add up. A quick break turns into 30 minutes scrolling through someone else's life. A moment of stress turns into snapping at someone you care about. A wave of anxiety turns into avoiding everything that needs to get done. And all of it slowly steals your energy, your clarity, and your ability to focus. The mistake is thinking you can fight emotions with willpower. You can't. Willpower is limited. It fades. What you need is training. Just like you train your body to get stronger, you have to train your emotions to stay steady under pressure. This isn't something that just happens with age. It's a decision. It's daily work. And it starts by noticing what triggers you, not just reacting to it. You feel overwhelmed. Stop. Don't rush. Don't lash out. Don't bury it. Ask yourself, What am I really feeling right now? Not what's wrong with the world, not what others are doing. What are you feeling inside, and what is it doing to your focus? That kind of awareness is rare, but it's the beginning of emotional control. You can't change what you won't confront. Once you're aware of what you feel, the next step is learning how to calm yourself down. You don't do that by ignoring the emotion or pretending you're fine. You do it by choosing your response. When you feel angry, breathe. When you feel anxious, pause. When you feel scattered, slow down. These sound simple. They are, but they're powerful, because most people don't do them. They react fast. They panic. They lash out, and they lose their peace in the process. You want to be someone who stays steady when others break down. Practice slowing your reactions. Practice being calm even when your feelings scream at you to rush. Calm isn't weakness. Calm is control. Calm doesn't mean you're not feeling anything. It means you're not letting those feelings control what you do next. Train your emotions by setting boundaries. Know what you allow into your space. If you keep surrounding yourself with negative people, your emotions will always be on edge. If you keep watching things that trigger fear, anxiety, or envy, your mind will always be restless. You can't stay calm if you constantly let chaos in. Protect your peace like it's gold, because it is. A calm mind can think clearly. A calm heart can make strong decisions. Emotional training also means choosing discomfort over escape. When something bothers you, don't run. Don't hide. Sit with it. Feel it. Learn from it. Then choose a better response. That's how you grow stronger. Not by avoiding pain, but by using it to build more control. The emotions you avoid always come back, but the ones you face lose their power. Another powerful way to train your emotions is by practicing gratitude in the hard moments. When you feel things slipping, find something, anything, you can still be thankful for. It shifts your state. It reminds you that even if things aren't perfect, they're not hopeless. Gratitude resets your emotional state without needing anything to change. That's real power. Focus comes from emotional discipline. And emotional discipline is built through daily effort. It's not built in comfort. It's built when you want to give up, but stay steady. It's built when you want to react, but choose patience. It's built when you feel like escaping, but stay present. You earn calm by choosing it when it's hardest. Some people will tell you to just be more positive, but this isn't about being positive. This is about being prepared. Life hits hard. People disappoint you. Things fall apart. Plans get ruined. You can't control all that, but you can control how you respond to it. That's the difference between those who rise and those who fall apart. Not talent, not luck, response. If you want to stay focused, you have to stop letting your emotions hijack your day. It's not that you shouldn't feel anything. You should, but you should also know how to handle it. If anger shows up, know what to do. If fear shows up, know what to say to yourself. If discouragement hits, know how to fight back. You can't afford to let feelings run your life. They will take you in circles. You've seen what happens when you react emotionally. You say things you don't mean. You make decisions you regret. You abandon the discipline you worked so hard to build. So now it's time to flip it. Decide that your emotions don't run the show anymore. You do. That's what calm looks like. That's what focus feels like. That's what growth demands. One of the most effective habits is journaling your emotions at the start and end of each day. Write down what you felt, when it happened, and how you responded. Not to judge yourself, but to learn, to see the patterns, to see where you gave in and where you held your ground. That kind of honesty is how you improve. You also train your emotions by the way you talk to yourself. Most people speak to themselves like they're a failure, like they're broken, like they're weak. That voice matters. It affects how you feel and what you believe you can handle. Speak to yourself with clarity and respect. When you feel fear, don't say I can't. Say I'm feeling fear, but I can still act. When you feel overwhelmed, don't say I'm lost. Say this is hard, but I can handle it. That inner voice is your first line of emotional strength. The goal isn't to become someone who never feels anything. That's not human. The goal is to feel everything but stay grounded. To feel stress and still move forward. To feel sadness and still stay focused. To feel anger and still choose the right words. That's power. That's maturity. That's discipline. And it doesn't happen overnight. This takes work every day. You'll fail some days. You'll react. You'll mess up. But the key is to learn from it, to reflect, to improve. That's emotional training. It's not about perfection. It's about progress, about shortening the gap between reaction and recovery, about building strength that stays with you, not just when life is smooth, but especially when it's not. Don't wait for the perfect time to train your emotions. That time is now. Don't wait until you lose something. Don't wait until you fall apart. Build the strength now. So when life shakes you, you can stand. So when emotions rise, you can think. So when stress hits, you can respond with wisdom, not fear. This is the difference between living with intention and drifting through life. People who never train their emotions live on edge. One little thing can ruin their whole day. One piece of bad news, and they fall apart. That's no way to live. You're stronger than that. You've got more in you than that. But you have to build it. It won't build itself. Your mind can only focus when it feels safe. And safety comes from emotional stability. It comes from knowing that no matter what happens, you won't lose yourself. That even when it's hard, you'll stay calm. That even when you feel pressure, you'll make clear decisions. That kind of strength gives your mind room to work, to create, to stay on track. So stop thinking emotional training is optional. It's not. It's essential. It's part of your discipline. Just like you train your body to get stronger. Just like you train your skills to get better. You train your emotions to stay calm and focused. That's the full system. That's how you build a life that's not just successful, but stable. And this isn't just about you. It affects everyone around you. Your family, your team, your future. People feel your energy. They feel when you're steady. They feel when you're clear. You bring that energy into every room, into every conversation, into every choice. That's leadership. That's influence. That's what people follow. So from this point forward, make the decision. Don't let your emotions control you. Don't let them pull you off your path. Respect your emotions, but train them. Feel them, but don't be ruled by them. Use them, but don't be used by them. You want to focus your mind? Start by calming your emotions. Start by mastering your state. Start by choosing responses that match the future you want, not the pain you feel in the moment. That's how you take control. That's how you build focus. That's how you live with strength every single day, no matter what comes. Number 3, feed your brain with things that build your vision. Your mind becomes what you feed it every day. Just like your body reflects what you eat, your thoughts reflect what you allow in. If you want to live a life with direction, clarity, and purpose, you have to start choosing what you put into your brain. Your vision depends on it. You can't expect to build a future that matters while filling your mind with things that weaken your focus, drain your energy, or pull you away from what really matters. If you want to stay aligned with where you're going, you need to treat your mind with respect. And that means being deliberate about what you read, what you listen to, what you watch, and who you spend time with. Every single day, your brain is being shaped. It's learning, it's absorbing, it's adapting. And if you're not giving it anything that strengthens your vision, then by default, it's being filled with distraction. Look at how much of what people consume each day is pure noise. Content that fuels comparison. Headlines that stir fear. Arguments that lead nowhere. Stories that glorify comfort and laziness. These things don't just steal your time. They warp your mindset. They change how you think. They shift your priorities. And before you know it, you start forgetting what your vision even was. You wake up with no fire. You scroll with no purpose. You work with no meaning. But it doesn't have to be like that. You can take back control. You can choose what your brain feeds on. You can turn your focus toward the things that push you forward. You can decide that you're done wasting mental energy on things that don't serve you. That decision starts small, but it grows. It grows with every book you read that challenges you. It grows with every conversation you have that stretches your thinking. It grows with every podcast, every video, every quote, every article that speaks directly to your goals. Feeding your brain isn't about motivation. It's about fuel. It's about direction. You're not trying to feel good for a few minutes. You're trying to shape the kind of person you're becoming. If you want to build a clear vision, you need clear thoughts. And if you want clear thoughts, you need strong inputs. This isn't about being perfect. It's about being intentional. Think about it. What are the top 3 things your brain consumed today? Were they helpful? Did they support your growth? or did they pull you off track? When you feed your brain the right way, your confidence increases. You start thinking differently. You become more decisive. You don't get distracted as easily. You can see problems with more clarity. You develop the strength to keep going, even when it's hard, because your inner world is strong. Your vision becomes clearer. Your priorities become sharper. Your energy becomes more focused. It's not just about what you know. It's about how you think, and what you feed your brain decides that. You have to stop treating your mind like a dumpster. You don't just let anything in. You filter it. You protect it. You say no to the things that waste your attention. You turn off the noise. You unsubscribe from the drama. You take breaks from the chaos, because you know your mind has work to do. You know your vision needs your focus. You know your future depends on the thoughts you grow right now. If you keep consuming the same low-value content, you'll keep thinking the same low-level thoughts. But if you want to build something better, you need new thoughts. You need better ideas. You need higher standards. That comes from feeding your brain quality. Learn from people who are ahead of you. Read books that make you think deeper. Study strategies that make you more effective. Watch things that teach you how to lead, how to grow, how to communicate better. These are the tools that build your future. You also have to understand that your brain craves patterns. If you feed it distraction every morning, it will crave distraction every morning. If you feed it learning, it will start craving knowledge. That's why the first hour of your day matters. If you start the day with noise, you set the tone for the rest of your day. But if you start the day with clarity, with learning, with vision, then your whole day starts to take shape around that energy. So ask yourself, what are you giving your mind every morning? Are you letting your phone set your mood? Are you jumping into chaos before your mind has even woken up? Or are you setting your tone with intention? Are you reminding yourself of what matters? Are you starting with something that builds you instead of something that breaks your focus? Your brain needs direction, not distraction. And that means saying no to some things, not because you're better than anyone else, but because you care too much about your future to waste time on things that don't serve it. You don't have time for pointless debates. You don't have energy for constant noise. You don't have room in your mind for gossip, comparison, or petty distractions. You have a vision. And every single thing you consume either builds that vision or breaks it down. Feeding your brain also means asking better questions. Don't just ask, what should I do today? Ask, what will bring me closer to my vision? Don't just ask, what's entertaining? Ask, what will stretch my thinking? Don't just look for comfort. Look for growth. Look for truth. Look for direction. That mindset will change your whole approach to what you allow into your mind. You also feed your brain by surrounding yourself with people who challenge you. The people you spend the most time with influence what you think about. They shape your standards. They either raise the bar or lower it. And if you're the smartest or most focused person in your group, you're in the wrong group. Find people who inspire you, who think bigger, who don't settle, who push you to be better. And when you can't find them in person, find them in books, in interviews, in content. Learn from them. Absorb how they think. Train your brain to see higher possibilities. And don't fall into the trap of thinking you already know enough. That's a dangerous mindset. The day you think you've arrived is the day you stop growing. There's always more to learn. Always a better way to think. Always a deeper level of understanding. Stay a student. Stay hungry. Stay curious. Because the more you learn, the more you see. The more you understand, the clearer your path becomes. This is not about adding more to your plate. It's about replacing the junk with the valuable. Instead of scrolling through endless distractions, spend that time feeding your brain something useful. Even 15 minutes of reading a day adds up. Even one podcast while you drive adds value. Even one deep conversation with the right person can shift your entire week. It's not about doing everything. It's about doing the right things consistently. You have a vision, or maybe you had one, and life got busy. That happens. But it's still there, buried under the noise. And if you want to bring it back to life, you start by feeding your brain the things that remind you of it. The things that keep you sharp. The things that light that fire again. Because once your mind is clear, your actions follow. Once your vision is strong, your excuses disappear. Stop hoping your focus will come back on its own. It won't. You have to take control of it. You have to rebuild it. And that starts with what you feed your mind. You want to stay locked in on your goals, then stop giving energy to things that have nothing to do with them. Stop rewarding your brain with dopamine from distraction. Start rewarding it with growth. Start training it to crave what builds you, not what breaks you. This is a lifestyle. It's a habit. It's a commitment to becoming someone who doesn't just react to life, but leads it. Someone who builds a mind strong enough to handle pressure, sharp enough to make wise decisions, and focused enough to see things through. That's not something you're born with. That's something you build. And you build it by feeding your brain the right things every day. So now the choice is yours. What will you feed your mind tomorrow? What will you allow in? What will you cut out? What will you replace? This is the real work, the internal work. The kind of work no one sees but everyone feels when you walk into a room. You want to be a person with vision. Then feed your brain like it matters, because it does. Your future depends on it. Your results depend on it. Your peace depends on it. What you feed your brain becomes the world you live in. Make it a world worth living in. Number 4, unfollow people who drain your mental energy. There comes a time in your life when you have to get serious about protecting your energy. Not everything deserves your attention. Not everyone deserves access to your mind. And if you want to focus your mind, if you truly want to sharpen your discipline and strengthen your focus, then you have to start being ruthless with who you allow into your space. This isn't about being cold. This is about being clear. You can't build a meaningful life surrounded by people who drain your mental energy every single day. There are people in your life right now who take more than they give. They bring nothing but stress, noise, distraction, and drama. They complain every day. They point fingers. They live in blame. They look for problems, not solutions. They chase attention, but avoid responsibility. And somehow they always find their way into your feed, your conversations, your thoughts. These are the people you must unfollow. Not just on social media, but in real life too. Mental energy is not unlimited. Focus is not something you can afford to waste. And your time, once gone, is never coming back. Every minute you give to people who don't build you is a minute taken from your growth. A minute stolen from your goals. A minute you could have used to learn, to think, to create, to rest. That's not a small thing. That's your life slipping away quietly. Some people never realize how much damage it does to stay connected to the wrong people. They keep watching content that leaves them feeling anxious. They keep following people who only post negativity. They stay in group chats that suck the energy out of their soul. And then they wonder why their mood is low, why they feel stuck, why they can't focus. It's not always a lack of motivation. Sometimes it's just the wrong people filling your space. If you want your mind to stay sharp, you have to clean your environment. Your mental environment is just as real as your physical one. Would you live in a house full of garbage? No, you'd clean it. You'd take out the trash. You'd throw away what doesn't belong. You'd open the windows and let some fresh air in. Well, your mind works the same way. If your mental space is full of noise, clutter, and stress, you won't be able to think clearly, and you won't be able to create the life you want. There are people who have made negativity their identity. They've built a life around complaining, blaming, arguing, and being offended. They want company, not change. They want attention, not truth. And if you're not careful, they will pull you into their world without you even realizing it. That's why unfollowing isn't just something you do on your phone. It's a mental decision. It's a way of saying, I'm not giving you my peace. I'm not handing over my focus. I'm not allowing you to drain what I've worked hard to protect. Look at your social media. What shows up when you open it? Who are you following? Who are you watching? Who do you listen to without even thinking about it? And how does it make you feel? Be honest. If it brings you down, unfollow. If it triggers doubt or fear or resentment, unfollow. If it adds no value to your life, unfollow. You don't owe anyone a front row seat to your life if they don't bring any light into it. Now look beyond the screen. Who do you spend your time with? Who do you talk to the most? Do they inspire you? Do they speak with clarity and strength? Do they live with purpose and discipline? Or do they complain, gossip, and make excuses? Do they lift you or drain you? Be honest. If someone drains your energy, it's time to create space. You don't need to make a dramatic announcement. You just need to stop feeding the connection. Stop responding to every message. Stop showing up for every call. Stop giving your time to people who haven't earned it. This is not about being arrogant. It's about being aware. Your mind is your responsibility. No one else is going to protect it for you. If you keep surrounding yourself with people who don't value their own mind, don't be surprised when they don't value yours either. You've got to rise above the noise. You've got to become someone who doesn't tolerate constant negativity. Someone who doesn't accept energy drainers as normal. Someone who values their peace enough to defend it. Focus is not just about what you do. It's about what you avoid. The distractions you cut. The relationships you let go of. The conversations you don't join. The arguments you walk away from. The people you choose not to follow. Every one of those decisions adds up. You won't notice the shift immediately, but give it a few weeks. Watch how your energy feels different. Watch how your thinking clears up. Watch how your productivity goes up. Watch how your stress goes down. That's the power of unfollowing the wrong people. You don't need a crowd. You need clarity, and clarity comes from removing the noise. It comes from choosing who gets your attention. It comes from deciding who you allow into your space, because not everyone deserves to be there. Some people were only meant to be in your life for a season. Some people were meant to teach you a lesson, not become a permanent fixture in your life. And once the lesson is learned, it's time to move forward. The more you grow, the more you'll notice the difference between those who want to grow with you and those who want you to stay the same. Some people can't handle your focus. They don't like your discipline. They feel uncomfortable with your growth. That's not your problem. You don't owe them comfort. You owe yourself progress. If they can't grow with you, you leave them behind. Don't waste time trying to explain your boundaries to people who don't respect them. Just act on them, quietly, consistently, powerfully, because your time is too valuable to spend convincing people who don't want to understand. You've got goals, you've got dreams, you've got work to do, and you don't have time to keep carrying people who refuse to carry themselves. Energy is a resource. Once it's gone, it's gone. Every hour you spend with someone who drains you is an hour you could have spent building, thinking, creating, growing. You get to decide where that energy goes. You get to decide who gets access. You get to build walls where you once had open doors. You get to change the locks if people no longer align with your values. You get to outgrow old circles and step into better ones. And once you do, you'll feel it. You'll feel the weight lift. You'll feel the air clear. You'll feel the peace come back. You'll feel your thoughts come back. You'll realize just how much of your stress was coming from the people you allowed in. And that realization will change the way you live. It'll make you more intentional. It'll make you more protective. It'll make you stronger, because now you know what it costs to keep the wrong people in your life. It takes courage to unfollow people, especially if they've been around for years, especially if they're family, especially if they expect your time. But courage is what creates change. You either stay stuck because you're afraid to disappoint people, or you take control of your life and start living on your terms. Not everyone will like your decisions. Not everyone will understand. But they don't have to. The only person who has to live with your energy, your peace, and your focus is you. This is your reminder that you are allowed to change. You are allowed to protect your peace. You are allowed to grow out of old conversations. You are allowed to unfollow people who don't align with the life you're building. You are allowed to guard your mental space like your future depends on it. Because it does. The people you allow into your mind will influence what you believe, what you focus on, and what you pursue. Choose wisely. Protect your focus like it's gold, because it is. And don't forget, you are the gatekeeper. You decide what gets in. You decide what stays. You decide who belongs in your world. If someone drains you, unfollow. If someone distracts you, unfollow. If someone keeps you stuck, unfollow. No drama, no hate, just peace, just progress, just focus. Number 5, challenge your mind with hard things each day. Challenging your mind with hard things every day is not a choice. It's a necessity. If you're serious about growth, if you want to unlock the true potential of your mind, you have to understand that comfort is the enemy of progress. Too many people spend their days seeking comfort, avoiding difficulty, trying to stay within a small, safe space. But the truth is, growth only happens when you push beyond those limits. It happens when you step into the discomfort zone and embrace hard things. It happens when you challenge yourself every single day. When you think of success, think of this. Success is not born out of easy days. It is born from the days that push you, the days that test you, and the days that leave you feeling like you've given everything you've got. Hard things create strength. Hard things create resilience. Hard things build character. It's in those moments when you want to give up, when your mind tells you it's too much, that you find your true power. But you can't find that power if you don't face the hard things. A lot of people are trying to take shortcuts. They want a quick fix, an easy answer, a smooth path. They want to get fit without sweating. They want to get rich without working. They want success without sacrifice. But that's not how it works. There are no shortcuts to greatness. You have to put in the work. You have to show up, day in and day out, for the difficult, uncomfortable things. That's the only way to truly change. The greatest minds in history didn't reach their potential by avoiding tough situations. They faced the most difficult challenges head on. They understood that challenges weren't barriers. They were opportunities to grow. Every single challenge you face today is an opportunity. It's an opportunity to stretch your mind, to push past your limits, to prove to yourself that you're capable of more than you thought possible. But it's not just about facing challenges. It's about seeking them out. It's about intentionally putting yourself in situations that require mental toughness, that force you to think, that push you to be creative. If you're not challenging yourself every day, if you're not stepping out of your comfort zone on a regular basis, you're falling behind. You're not growing, and that's the most dangerous place to be. You can't just wait for life to throw challenges your way. You have to create them. You have to intentionally take on things that will stretch your thinking, that will push you to grow. It could be something as simple as learning a new skill, reading a difficult book, solving a complex problem, or pushing through a tough workout. It could be anything that forces you to think, forces you to focus, forces you to stretch beyond what you thought you were capable of. The key here is consistency. It's not enough to challenge yourself once in a while and expect results. You have to do it every day. You have to make it a habit, a daily ritual. Your mind is like a muscle. If you don't work it, it will atrophy. It will become weak and complacent. But when you challenge your mind every day, you make it stronger. You build mental toughness. You sharpen your focus. You increase your ability to solve problems. You develop the kind of resilience that will carry you through any adversity. Every day, ask yourself, what am I doing today that challenges my mind? If the answer is nothing, then you're not growing. If the answer is something easy, then you're not pushing yourself enough. Growth happens when you do things that scare you, when you do things that make you uncomfortable, when you do things that stretch your abilities. It's not about doing what's easy or what's familiar. It's about doing what challenges you. And it's not just about your mind either. Challenging your mind helps you become better in every area of your life. When your mind is strong, your body becomes strong. When your mind is clear, your actions become purposeful. When your mind is disciplined, your habits become productive. Every aspect of your life improves when you push your mind to its limits. This isn't just theory, it's the reality that successful people live by every day. But let's talk about the payoff. The real reason you should be challenging your mind every day is because of the results. You want to be better. You want to perform at a higher level. You want to have more impact, more influence, and more success. And the only way to get those results is through daily mental challenges. That's the secret. It's not magic. It's not luck. It's consistent effort. It's pushing yourself through hard things, day after day. But there's more to it than just the results. There's a shift that happens in your mind when you consistently challenge yourself. You begin to see yourself differently. You stop seeing yourself as someone who struggles with problems and start seeing yourself as someone who solves them. You stop feeling sorry for yourself when things get tough and start finding solutions. You start to see hard things as opportunities, as steps along the way to your goals. You see yourself as someone who can handle whatever life throws at you. This shift is incredibly powerful. It's what separates the average from the exceptional. The average person avoids hard things. They give up when things get tough. They let challenges stop them in their tracks. But the exceptional person, they thrive on challenge. They seek it out. They embrace it. They know that the harder the task, the greater the reward. Now let's talk about fear. Fear is what keeps most people from challenging themselves. They're afraid of failure. They're afraid of making mistakes. They're afraid of looking bad. But here's the thing. Fear is just a feeling. It's not a fact, and it's not something that should control you. When you challenge your mind, fear will show up, but that's a good sign. It means you're growing. It means you're pushing your limits. It means you're on the right path. The fear won't go away, but you'll learn to work through it. You'll learn to act despite the fear. The more you challenge yourself, the more you realize that fear doesn't have power over you. It's simply a signal that you're doing something important. It's a signal that you're stepping outside your comfort zone. And that's where real growth happens. So if you want to see a change in your life, if you want to achieve your goals, if you want to become the best version of yourself, then challenge your mind every single day. Make it a habit. Seek out difficulty. Embrace discomfort. Do the things that push you to think harder, work harder, and stretch your limits. It's not easy, but it's worth it. And if you commit to this practice, you'll see your life transform in ways you can't even imagine. Because success is built on the foundation of mental toughness. And mental toughness is built by challenging your mind every single day. So let's make this commitment today. Let's agree to challenge ourselves every day. Let's decide to stop taking the easy route. Let's choose growth over comfort. Let's make today the day we start doing hard things. Because that's where greatness starts. Number 6. Put all your attention on one task right now. In today's world, distractions are everywhere, from notifications on our phones to constant demands from work, family, and friends. It's easy to get overwhelmed. We live in a time where multitasking is almost seen as a virtue. And yet, it's one of the most dangerous things you can do to your focus. If you want to accomplish anything meaningful, you must put all your attention on one task right now. Focus. That's what separates those who achieve great things from those who struggle. It's not about working harder. It's not about working longer. It's about focusing on one thing and pouring your energy into it completely, undistracted, without wavering. It's about being so present that nothing else matters in that moment but the task at hand. We have all experienced the feeling of being spread too thin. We try to juggle multiple tasks at once, thinking that if we can keep everything going, we'll be productive. But here's the reality. Multitasking doesn't work. It doesn't make you more efficient. It doesn't make you more productive. In fact, it does the exact opposite. When you split your attention between multiple things, none of them get your full focus. None of them get your best. And in the end, you're not moving forward. You're treading water. What you need to do is simple, yet powerful. You need to put all your attention on one task right now. The moment you commit to focusing on one thing, everything changes. You stop wasting time jumping from task to task. You stop wasting energy trying to manage 10 things at once. Instead, you focus on the one thing that matters, and you give it your all. Think about it. When you focus, you become unstoppable. You become sharper, more effective, and more efficient. You can finish tasks quicker. You can solve problems more effectively. You can complete projects with more attention to detail. When you direct your full attention to a single task, the quality of your work improves. The outcome is better because you gave it your undivided attention. So how do you do this? How do you bring yourself to focus on just one thing, especially in a world full of distractions? The first step is to recognize the importance of this mindset shift. You must choose to stop giving your attention to everything at once. When you start, give yourself permission to focus on one thing, and here's the key. You need to be intentional about it. Begin by blocking out distractions. Turn off notifications. Close unnecessary tabs or apps. Clear your workspace. Make it a ritual to set up an environment that allows you to focus. When your environment is free of distractions, your mind can truly hone in on what you're working on. Set a clear intention for the task at hand. Make it your sole focus. As you begin to work, there will be moments when your mind starts to wander. You may get the urge to check your phone or look at something else. This is where discipline comes in. You have to train yourself to refocus, to bring your attention back to what matters. It's a practice, just like building a muscle. The more you focus, the stronger your ability to focus becomes. Now let's talk about why this matters. When you give all of your attention to one task, you're not only completing that task more effectively, but you're also making a statement about what matters to you. You're making a statement about your priorities. When you focus on one task at a time, you're telling yourself, this is important. This is what I'm doing right now. That mindset is what leads to results. But focus is not just about getting things done. It's about the quality of what you're doing. The more attention you give to something, the more you're able to immerse yourself in it. And when you're truly immersed in something, you perform at a higher level. You begin to see details you wouldn't have noticed before. You develop solutions that others might miss. You elevate your work to a whole new standard. When you decide to focus, you're also choosing to let go of what doesn't matter. All those little distractions, all those small things that pull your attention away, they're not important in that moment. They are irrelevant. When you choose to focus, you're making the decision to give everything you have to what matters most. You become clear on your priorities. You stop letting the world dictate where your energy goes. One of the most powerful aspects of focusing on one task at a time is the sense of accomplishment that comes with it. Have you ever noticed how great it feels when you finish something you've been giving your full attention to? There's a sense of satisfaction, a sense of pride, and a sense of momentum. And it doesn't just feel good in the moment. That sense of accomplishment fuels your next task. It propels you forward, giving you the energy and motivation to keep going. But what happens if you don't focus? What happens if you continue to bounce from one thing to another, never giving your full attention to anything? The result is burnout. You end up exhausted without having truly accomplished anything. You've wasted time and energy, and you're left feeling frustrated, unfocused, and unfulfilled. But when you focus on one task at a time, you create momentum, you create progress. This doesn't just apply to work or tasks. It applies to every area of your life, whether it's personal development, relationships, or health. Putting all your attention on one thing at a time is crucial. Think about your fitness. If you're trying to improve your health, you can't half-heartedly juggle between different fitness goals. You need to focus on the steps you're taking right now. If you're trying to learn something new, focus on that task. If you're working on your relationships, give those moments your undivided attention. Quality matters. Focus creates that quality. But here's the hard truth. Focusing takes discipline. It's easy to get distracted. It's easy to give in to the temptation to check your phone, to get sidetracked by something else. But the real work begins when you stop giving in to those distractions. The real work happens when you decide that the task at hand is more important than anything else. That's when you build true discipline. The good news is that discipline is a skill that can be developed. You don't have to be born with it. You don't have to wait for motivation to strike. You can start building discipline today. The more you focus, the stronger your discipline becomes. The more you master your attention, the more you control your future. So here's the challenge for the next 30 days. Commit to focusing on one task at a time. Give each task your full attention. When you're working, be all in. When you're with family or friends, be present. Stop multitasking. Stop spreading yourself thin. Focus on the task that's in front of you and give it your full attention. Watch how everything in your life starts to change. Watch how your results improve. Watch how your productivity soars. It's not magic, it's focus, and focus changes everything. It's time to stop letting distractions control your life. It's time to take control of your attention. When you do that, you take control of your future. Put all your attention on one task right now and see how it transforms your life. Number 7, drop the multitasking and commit to deep work. The world has made multitasking seem like a skill to be proud of. We've been told to juggle multiple tasks at once, believing that doing so is the key to productivity and success. But here's the truth. Multitasking is a myth. It's a lie that leads us to believe that we can do everything at once, when in reality we're doing nothing at all. You can't truly focus on two things at once. Your brain doesn't work that way. You end up spreading yourself thin, losing focus, and damaging your productivity. If you want to achieve real success, you must drop the multitasking and commit to deep work. Deep work is about focus. It's about dedicating yourself completely to a single task, immersing yourself in it, and doing it with intention and excellence. In a world that's constantly pulling your attention in 1,000 different directions, deep work is the antidote to distractions. It's the secret to achieving high-level results in everything you do. And if you want to take control of your life, your work, and your future, you have to embrace it. Think about your most important goals, whether it's building a business, writing a book, learning a new skill, or improving your health. The only way you'll make meaningful progress is by focusing deeply on the task at hand. The key to extraordinary results is not working harder or longer, but working with complete focus and dedication. When you commit to deep work, you give yourself the chance to work at your highest level, to produce your best work, and to create something that will stand out. Multitasking pulls your attention away from what really matters. It divides your mental energy into fragments, preventing you from achieving mastery in any one thing. You might think that checking your email while writing an important report or texting while you're in a meeting is a sign of being productive. But the reality is that you're not giving your best to either task. Instead of completing both tasks effectively, you're simply spreading yourself thin. When you multitask, you're not truly engaged with anything. And as a result, you're not doing anything at your best. The problem with multitasking is that it's seductive. It feels like you're accomplishing more, but you're not. You're just bouncing between tasks without ever fully committing to any of them. In the end, you're left with half-finished projects, low-quality work, and a sense of frustration. And here's the kicker. Your brain gets tired faster when you multitask. It takes more energy to switch between tasks, and over time, this drains your mental resources. You end up feeling mentally exhausted without ever having actually made significant progress. This is where deep work comes in. Deep work is the practice of dedicating yourself to one task for an extended period of time, with full focus and no distractions. It's about immersing yourself in your work and reaching a state of flow, where time disappears, and you're fully engaged in what you're doing. In deep work, you aren't checking your phone, answering emails, or thinking about what you'll have for dinner. You are fully present, giving everything you've got to the task at hand. When you work deeply, you achieve a level of concentration and quality that multitasking will never allow. One of the reasons people struggle with deep work is that it's uncomfortable. It requires discipline and commitment. In our fast-paced, distraction-filled world, we're not used to focusing for long periods. It's easy to get distracted by the next notification or the next shiny object. But here's the reality. If you want to produce extraordinary results, you have to fight against the current. You have to fight against the distractions. You have to commit to staying focused, even when it's difficult. The truth is, your success depends on your ability to focus deeply on your work. But how do you develop the ability to do deep work? It starts with making a conscious decision to prioritize focus over distraction. You need to eliminate the things that pull your attention away from your work. Turn off your phone, close unnecessary tabs, and create an environment that is conducive to concentration. Set clear boundaries for when you will work and when you will take breaks. The more you practice deep work, the easier it becomes to enter a state of flow. And the more you enter flow, the more productive and effective you will be. Deep work requires planning. You can't just sit down and expect to immediately focus for hours on end. You need to set aside time for it. You need to protect that time and guard it fiercely. Whether it's blocking off 2 hours in the morning to write, dedicating a specific time to work on your business, or setting aside time to learn a new skill, you need to make deep work a priority. The key is to treat that time as sacred. No distractions, no interruptions, no excuses. Just you, your task, and complete focus. But it's not just about eliminating distractions. It's about intentionally setting up your environment for success. When you work, do you have a quiet space? Do you have the right tools? Is everything you need right in front of you? If not, then you're setting yourself up for failure. Creating the right environment for deep work is essential. It's about removing the clutter, both physically and mentally, so you can focus entirely on the task at hand. Another challenge with deep work is the temptation to constantly check in with yourself. You might find yourself thinking, am I making progress? Is this good enough? These thoughts can pull you out of the deep work mindset and lead you into self-doubt. But here's the key. When you're doing deep work, you have to trust the process. You have to trust that the results will come. Stop worrying about how far along you are and focus on the process itself. Trust that if you keep showing up and doing the work, the results will follow. Deep work also requires a mindset shift. It's not about working for the sake of working. It's about doing work that matters. When you commit to deep work, you are committing to doing the kind of work that moves you toward your goals. It's about setting your sights on something bigger than yourself and working with purpose and intention. It's not about being busy. It's about being effective. When you focus on the work that truly matters, you make significant progress toward achieving your goals. One of the greatest benefits of deep work is that it allows you to make the most of your time. In our modern world, we are all so busy, but busyness doesn't equal productivity. You can spend all day checking off tasks, but if they're not the right tasks, you haven't really accomplished anything. Deep work ensures that every minute you spend is dedicated to something that moves you forward. It's about spending your time on the things that matter most, not on the things that just keep you busy. As you continue to commit to deep work, you'll find that your results improve. You'll produce better quality work in less time. You'll feel more satisfied with your progress because you know you gave your best effort. And over time, you'll start to see the power of deep work. You'll see how it transforms your productivity, your success, and your life. But it all starts with making the decision to drop the multitasking and commit to deep work. Multitasking is a trap. It's a trap that keeps you from reaching your full potential. It keeps you from doing your best work. But when you embrace deep work, you step out of the trap. You make a conscious choice to focus, to immerse yourself in your work, and to give it your all. And that's when everything changes. The results you achieve will be beyond anything you ever imagined. It's not about working more. It's about working better. It's about committing to deep work. Number 8. Audit your daily thoughts to catch distractions. It's easy to get lost in our thoughts. We all do it. Our minds can wander, bouncing from one idea to the next without warning. One minute you're thinking about your goals, and the next, you're distracted by a memory from the past or an anxiety about the future. But let's be real. Most of those distractions aren't serving you. They pull your attention away from what truly matters, and before you know it, you've lost valuable time. You need to start being aware of what's going on inside your head. You need to audit your daily thoughts. Why? Because your thoughts shape your reality. If you're constantly thinking about things that don't move you forward, you're wasting energy. If you're focusing on distractions, your potential will be buried under a mountain of unnecessary noise. It's time to take control of your mind. You can't afford to let distractions rob you of your focus. You must start to pay attention to the thoughts that show up throughout the day. When you become aware of the distractions, you gain the power to control them. This is where the process of auditing your thoughts comes into play. It's essential to start with an honest self-reflection. At the end of each day, look back at your thoughts. What were you thinking about during those moments when you felt your focus slipping? What was occupying your mind when you were supposed to be doing something important? Was it worries about tomorrow, thoughts about the past, or was it simply meaningless chatter that added nothing of value to your day? These distractions have no place in your mind. When you begin auditing your thoughts, you begin to catch those distractions before they take root. You can't just let them flow by unnoticed. You have to identify them and stop them in their tracks. Think of it as cleaning out a cluttered room. The mess is there, but you have to make the effort to sort through it, piece by piece, and throw out what doesn't belong. When you do this for your mind, you'll create space for clarity, for focus, and for things that truly move you toward your goals. How do you do it? The first step is awareness. Whenever you notice yourself veering off course, recognize it. If you find yourself thinking about something irrelevant or getting stuck in a loop of negative thoughts, acknowledge it. Don't ignore it. You must be honest with yourself and admit that the distraction has taken hold. Once you've recognized it, you've already won half the battle. The next step is to decide to change your focus. There will be times when the distractions seem overwhelming, and you'll feel like your mind is racing in all directions. But when you audit your thoughts, you have the opportunity to take control. Each time you notice a distraction, make a conscious decision to replace it with a thought that aligns with your goals and values. If you're thinking about a past mistake, redirect your thoughts to what you can do today to improve. If you're worrying about the future, refocus on what's within your control right now. It's not enough to just be aware of the distractions. You must be proactive in reprogramming your mind. One way to do this is by creating a list of affirmations or reminders that can help guide your thinking. For example, you might have a reminder that says, "Focus on what's important today. Let go of the rest." These reminders will help redirect your thoughts when they begin to stray. They'll serve as anchors that pull you back to the present moment and back to your goals. Another powerful strategy is journaling. Taking the time to write down your thoughts at the end of the day allows you to analyze them more clearly. You might notice patterns that you weren't aware of before. Maybe you're spending too much time worrying about things outside of your control. Maybe you're focusing too much on fear or self-doubt. By journaling, you can uncover these distractions and work to eliminate them. Remember, this process of auditing your thoughts takes time. It won't happen overnight, but the more you practice, the more natural it will become. At first, it might feel like a constant battle against your own mind, but eventually it will be second nature. You'll start to catch distractions almost automatically, and the power to control them will be in your hands. And once you've gained control over your thoughts, you'll see a huge improvement in your ability to focus and make progress toward your goals. Your thoughts are like seeds. The ones you nurture will grow, and the ones you ignore will wither away. It's up to you to decide which thoughts you want to cultivate. When you focus on positive, productive thoughts, you create a mental environment that supports your success. When you give attention to distractions, you're feeding the weeds that will choke your growth. Over time, this practice of auditing your thoughts will lead to profound changes in your life. You'll find that you're less easily distracted, that you're more productive, and that your focus is sharper than ever before. Your mind will become a tool that works for you instead of against you. But it's not just about productivity. Auditing your thoughts will also help you manage your emotions and mindset. When you catch yourself falling into negative patterns of thinking, you can stop them before they spiral out of control. You'll learn to replace self-doubt with self-belief and worry with confidence. The more you take control of your thoughts, the more you'll realize that you are in charge of your life. This process of thought auditing doesn't stop once you've mastered it. It's a continuous practice. As you grow, you'll face new challenges, and new distractions will try to invade your mind. But if you've committed to this process, you'll be better prepared to handle them. You'll know how to pause, recognize the distraction, and refocus on what truly matters. You don't need to let your mind run wild, taking you wherever it wants to go. You are the one in control. Audit your thoughts every day. Catch those distractions before they take over your life. Take back control of your mind and watch how it transforms your focus, your productivity, and your success. When you learn to master your thoughts, you unlock the power to achieve anything you set your mind to. So today, start auditing your thoughts. Pay attention to where your mind goes throughout the day, and take note of the distractions that steal your attention. Recognize them, redirect them, and replace them with thoughts that move you toward your goals. Your mind is your greatest asset, and when you take control of it, nothing can stop you. Number 9. Build mental toughness by doing what you avoid. One of the hardest things in life is facing the things we avoid. And you know what they are. Everyone has them. Some people avoid hard conversations. Some avoid responsibility. Others avoid effort, change, pressure, or uncertainty. But let me tell you something that most people don't want to hear. The things you avoid are the very things you need to do if you want to become strong. You don't build strength by hiding from your weaknesses. You build strength by facing them head on. Mental toughness isn't something you're born with. It's something you build. And the bricks you use to build it are your daily choices. Every time you choose to face what you usually avoid, you get stronger. Every time you push through discomfort, instead of running from it, you grow. Most people think toughness comes from shouting louder, acting tougher, pretending nothing bothers them. That's not true. Mental toughness is quiet. It's built in silence. It's built in the lonely moments when no one is watching. It's built when you stop escaping and start facing what makes you uncomfortable. The reason most people don't grow is not because they lack information or resources. It's because they avoid doing the hard thing. They make excuses. They delay. They convince themselves they'll do it tomorrow or when they feel ready. But that moment doesn't come. And deep down, they know it. That delay becomes a habit. That avoidance becomes a lifestyle. And it kills their growth from the inside out. If you want mental strength, you need to stop waiting to feel ready. You need to stop waiting for the fear to go away. You need to act in the presence of fear, not the absence of it. You need to start doing the exact things your mind tells you to avoid. That's where the real change begins. And it's not going to feel good. It's not supposed to. Growth never feels good in the moment. It's uncomfortable. It's painful. But pain is part of the process. You have to go through it. You can't skip it. You can't avoid it. You have to sit in it, stay with it, and get through it. Start small. You don't need to do everything at once, but you do need to be honest. What are the things you avoid? Write them down. Be specific. Is it waking up early? Is it confronting someone? Is it taking responsibility for your choices? Is it committing to a routine? Is it making a decision you've been postponing for years? Once you see it on paper, it becomes real. Once it's real, you can deal with it. That's how you build toughness, one avoided thing at a time. When you feel that inner resistance, that voice that says not today, understand that you've just found the door to growth. Resistance is not your enemy. It's your guide. It's pointing you directly to the work that must be done. You can't avoid that voice. You have to confront it. That's how strength is built. That's how courage is built. That's how self-respect is built. You show yourself that you are not weak, that you are not a slave to your fears, and that you can do hard things even when you don't feel like it. Most people never taste that level of self-respect because they never go to war with their excuses. They never look their fears in the eye and say, I'm doing it anyway. And because they never push through, they never get the reward. And let me tell you, the reward is priceless. It's not money. It's not status. It's something deeper. It's knowing in your bones that you can trust yourself, that you can rely on yourself when things get hard, that you don't break easily, that you don't run from challenge. You run toward it. That's the kind of strength that changes your life. Mental toughness is earned. It's not gifted. You earn it by walking into discomfort every single day, by doing what you said you'd do, even when you don't feel like it, by not backing down when your mind starts whispering all the reasons to quit. When you avoid, you reinforce fear. When you act, you destroy it. Fear only grows when you feed it. Every time you avoid, you're feeding the fear. But when you face it, starve it, and go straight through it, you shrink it. It's easy to stay comfortable. It's easy to do what's familiar, but comfort will cost you your potential. Comfort doesn't make you stronger. It makes you soft. It makes you dependent. And when life tests you, and it will, you won't have the strength to handle it. That's why you must seek out discomfort now, on your own terms, before life forces it on you. And it will. Life will test you. Life will throw pain your way, whether you're ready or not. And when that happens, you'll either crumble or rise. Your strength will be the deciding factor. And that strength is built now. Today, by doing the things you avoid. Most people don't train their mind. They train their body. They train their business skills. But they never train their mental strength. And that's why they break when things get hard. That's why they give up too soon. That's why they doubt themselves when pressure hits. If you want to be someone who doesn't crumble under pressure, someone who can handle chaos with calm, someone who can move forward in the middle of fear, then you need to start practicing. And the way you practice is by facing the things you avoid. You know what you've been avoiding. You don't need anyone to tell you. It's been in the back of your mind for a long time. You've convinced yourself it's not that important. You've said you'll get to it later, but later keeps turning into never. And deep down, you feel the weight of it. It's time to face it. It's time to stop avoiding and start acting. Because that thing you keep running from is the doorway to the person you're trying to become. The more you run, the weaker you become. The more you face it, the stronger you get. It's that simple. Not easy, but simple. It's supposed to be hard. That's what makes it worth it. If it were easy, everyone would be mentally tough. But not everyone is. Most people fold under pressure. Most people avoid hard choices. You don't want to be like most people. You want to stand out. You want to be the one who takes responsibility, who steps up, who doesn't flinch when it's hard. You want to be the one who shows up, even when it hurts. And that kind of person doesn't come from comfort. That kind of person is forged in discomfort. You're not going to wake up one day and magically feel brave. You'll feel fear. You'll feel doubt. you'll feel discomfort. But mental toughness means moving forward anyway. It means building momentum through action. It means acting without waiting for perfect conditions. It means showing up for yourself every single day, especially on the days when you don't want to. You grow when you face fear, not when you talk about it. You get stronger when you take action, not when you read another book about it. You build mental toughness by doing the thing you keep putting off. Do it now. Don't wait for motivation. Don't wait for someone to push you. Push yourself. Lead yourself. Show yourself that you have what it takes. Because you do. You just need to prove it to yourself through action. And when you do, you'll feel different. You'll feel proud. Not because everything's perfect, but because you finally stopped running. Because you finally looked fear in the face and did it anyway. And once you taste that feeling, you'll want more. You'll start chasing challenge instead of avoiding it. You'll start welcoming discomfort instead of fearing it. Because you'll realize that the more you step into the hard things, the more capable you become. Mental toughness isn't loud. It's not flashy. It's not dramatic. It's quiet. It's steady. It's disciplined. It's built when no one's watching. It's built when you show up, day after day, and do the hard thing. The thing you avoided yesterday becomes the thing that strengthens you today, and tomorrow, you'll be even stronger. Keep showing up. Keep facing what you fear. Keep doing what you avoid. That's how you build a mind that doesn't break. That's how you build a life that doesn't fall apart when tested. You want peace? Then build strength. You want confidence? Then earn it. You want freedom? Then stop avoiding and start doing. You'll never respect yourself until you do the things you keep avoiding. Stop running. Face it. Act to grow. That's how you win. That's how you become mentally tough. And that's how you change your life. Number 10, discipline your environment to protect your focus. Your environment is shaping your focus, whether you realize it or not. Every object around you, every sound you hear, every open tab on your screen, every unread notification, and even the people you let into your space, these are all sending signals to your brain. They're either pulling you deeper into your purpose or pulling you away from it. If you don't discipline your environment will discipline you. It will train your mind to stay distracted, reactive, and scattered. But if you take full control of what you allow into your space, you begin to protect your focus like your future depends on it. Because it does. It doesn't matter how disciplined you are internally if your surroundings are working against you. You can have all the willpower in the world, but if you're constantly surrounded by temptations, noise, and chaos, it's only a matter of time before you crack. Discipline starts with deciding what belongs in your environment and what doesn't. And the truth is, most people don't even take a second to question what's in their space. They let clutter pile up, they allow toxic conversations to linger, and they tolerate mental noise without realizing the cost. Focus isn't a product of motivation. It's a product of design. You have to design your space in a way that forces you to pay attention to what matters. If something in your environment doesn't align with your highest priorities, you need to remove it without hesitation. The fewer distractions you allow, the more attention you'll have available. Attention is your most valuable resource. It's what you spend every second of your life giving away. If you don't protect it, people will steal it, apps will hijack it, and your environment will destroy it without your consent. Look around your space right now. What do you see? Is it clean or chaotic? Is it organized or messy? Is it calm or loud? Is it built for work or built for wasting time? Be honest with yourself. If your space is not helping you move forward, then it's holding you back. And if it's holding you back, you have to change it. You don't need permission. You don't need someone to validate it. You just need to take responsibility and clean house physically, digitally, emotionally, and mentally. Every piece of clutter is a decision you haven't made. Every distraction is a doorway to procrastination. And every bit of noise you allow in is weakening your mental muscles. You don't become a focused person by accident. You become one by taking full ownership of your space. That means turning off the notifications you never need. That means organizing your desk so it reflects clarity. That means deleting the apps that suck your time and provide nothing valuable in return. That means creating a physical and digital space where only one thing is in front of you, the task you've committed to. Most people don't realize how much energy they waste switching between things. When your environment is filled with unnecessary stimuli, your brain has to work harder to ignore it all. And the truth is, your brain is not wired to multitask well. Every switch costs time. Every shift costs energy. The more distractions around you, the more tired you'll feel, even if you haven't done anything meaningful. You start the day with a full tank of mental fuel, but your environment can drain it before you even begin real work. That's why the most successful people are ruthless about protecting their space. This doesn't mean you need a perfect environment. It just means you need a disciplined one. One that reflects the level of focus you want to achieve. You don't need expensive tools. You don't need a fancy workspace. You need simplicity. You need clarity. You need intention. Keep only what helps you move forward. Remove everything that doesn't. That's how you turn your environment into an asset, instead of a liability. Discipline also means setting boundaries with people. If someone constantly interrupts your flow, you need to address it. If someone disrespects your time or mental space, you must speak up. This is your life. This is your time. You're not being rude when you protect your focus. You're being responsible. Too many people allow emotional clutter in their environment. Arguments, gossip, toxic conversations, negativity. That noise is just as harmful as digital distractions. It weighs you down. It clouds your thinking. It ruins your day before it even starts. You have to clean that up too. Don't let people pollute your mental space. You have every right to guard your peace. Even sound matters. If you're constantly bombarded with random noises, loud backgrounds, or meaningless chatter, your brain stays in reaction mode. It can't drop into deep focus when it's always alert to its surroundings. That's why silence is powerful. That's why solitude is valuable. Create silence in your space whenever you can. That quiet is not empty. It's full of potential. It's in that silence that your deepest thoughts can rise. It's in that quiet that real work happens. If you can't control your environment completely, use headphones, use structure, use whatever tools you have to carve out your own corner of focus. You also have to be careful what you look at. Your screens are portals. Every image, every headline, every video you consume leaves a trace in your mind, and your attention gets trained by what you expose it to. If you're always seeing chaos, conflict, and noise, your mind becomes chaotic too. But if you train your environment to feed you peace, clarity, and direction, your mind becomes sharper. It starts craving focus instead of distraction. It starts seeking growth instead of escape. People talk a lot about mindset, but few talk about what surrounds the mind. Your mindset doesn't operate in a vacuum. It's constantly influenced by your surroundings. Your physical space, your digital space, your social space. All of it is shaping your internal dialogue. You want a strong mind? Then surround it with strength. Discipline your space to reflect the life you want, not the habits you're trying to quit. Start small. Choose one part of your environment and clean it. Organize your desk. Clear your desktop. Shut down the noise. Turn off the irrelevant. The act of organizing your space creates order in your mind. It tells your brain we're serious now. We're in control. This is not chaos. This is clarity. You don't need to be extreme. You need to be intentional. Every small change in your environment sends a signal to your brain about what matters. So start sending the right signals. Make your environment work for you. You can't always control everything around you, but you can always control what you allow in. That's the power you hold. You decide what stays. You decide what goes. If something doesn't serve your mission, it has no place in your life. That's not harsh. That's discipline. And discipline is love. Love for your future. Love for your potential. Love for your peace of mind. Discipline is not punishment. It's alignment. Once your environment is aligned with your goals, everything becomes easier. You don't have to force focus. It flows naturally. You don't have to struggle to stay on task. The task is right in front of you, and everything else is out of sight. That's how you protect your energy. That's how you protect your goals. You remove the unnecessary, so the essential can thrive. You'll notice something powerful once you commit to this. You'll feel lighter, more clear-headed, more productive. You'll waste less time trying to get into the zone, because your space will already be designed for it. You won't need as much motivation, because your environment will be doing half the work for you. That's what discipline does. It reduces friction. It makes the right thing easier to do, and the wrong thing harder to access. Your future depends on your ability to focus, and your focus depends on the environment you create for yourself. Stop waiting for the perfect conditions. Start creating them. Start eliminating the clutter. Start designing your life to reflect your deepest values. Your space should be a mirror of your priorities. If someone walked into your room, or opened your laptop, or saw your calendar, they should immediately understand what matters most to you. Let your environment speak for your values. Let it shout your vision back at you every day. That's how you build unbreakable focus. That's how you win in silence. That's how you build a life that respects your time, your mind, and your mission. Number 11, stop waiting and start building mental strength. Now, you can't afford to keep waiting for the right time. There is no right time. There is only now. Every second you hesitate, you're training your mind to hesitate again. Every excuse you feed today will become the habit you carry tomorrow. If you want to become mentally strong, you need to stop overthinking and start acting. You don't build resilience by reading about it. You build it by facing the moments you usually avoid and pushing through them with full presence. Mental strength is not something you get from motivation. It's built through decisions that most people run away from. Waiting is the easiest choice, and that's exactly why it weakens you. Waiting teaches you to depend on comfort. It makes you believe that you need to feel ready, feel motivated, or feel good before you take action. But the strongest people don't wait for perfect emotions. They act in spite of them. They move forward even when it's inconvenient, even when it's uncomfortable, even when it's uncertain. That's how you train your mind to stop being a prisoner to temporary feelings and start becoming a builder of long-term strength. Every moment you choose discipline over delay, you're building a layer of toughness inside yourself. And it doesn't need to be extreme. You don't need to climb a mountain or run a marathon. You just need to do the things you don't feel like doing every single day. That's where real toughness begins. Not in the big events, but in the small choices. Waking up when you say you will. Finishing what you start, keeping your word to yourself. Showing up when your excuses beg you to stay still. That's how you get strong. People think mental strength is some kind of personality trait. It's not. It's a skill. It's developed, not given. And like any skill, it gets better the more you use it. So if you're not building it, you're losing it. You either become stronger by practice or weaker by neglect. Every day you don't push your limits is a day those limits become more permanent. Mental weakness doesn't show up overnight. It's the result of letting yourself off the hook, little by little, until you forget what discipline even feels like. So stop convincing yourself that tomorrow is when you'll finally get serious. Tomorrow is a trap. Tomorrow will lie to you. It'll tell you that you've got time. It'll tell you that you're being patient, that you're preparing. But that's just fear wearing a disguise. If something matters, you start now. Even if you don't have all the answers. Even if you don't feel confident. Especially then, because the action you take while feeling uncertain is what hardens your mindset. It shows your brain that hesitation doesn't get to control you anymore. You can't be mentally strong if you're always looking for comfort. You grow by leaning into discomfort, by facing friction, by dealing with things head-on instead of running from them. Every time you do the hard thing when you'd rather take the easy route, you chip away at weakness and replace it with power. And that's how it happens. Not all at once, but inch by inch, repetition by repetition, day after day. There's no shortcut. There's just the work, and that work has to begin now. Stop feeding the habit of postponing. You need to challenge it directly. Every time your mind tells you later, say no, now. That's how you reverse the damage. That's how you reclaim control over your choices. Because when you delay growth, you delay life, and life doesn't wait. It passes by. Whether you're ready or not, you can either take control of your thoughts, or your thoughts will take control of you. You decide who's in charge, your excuses or your effort. Mental strength also comes from what you do in private, when no one's watching, when there's no applause, when it's just you and your own honesty. Can you keep going then? Can you stay disciplined when it's boring, when it's hard, when it feels like nothing's changing? That's the test, not the big moments, not the achievements, but the invisible grind, the quiet consistency, That's what separates those who get stronger from those who stay stuck. Don't tell yourself you need more time. What you really need is more commitment. Stop researching so much. Stop trying to perfect your plan before you begin. Just begin. Strength isn't built by theory. It's built by trials. You can read every book, watch every video, listen to every speech. But if you don't face your own resistance and crush it, none of that will matter. This is your fight. No one's going to do it for you. No one's coming to give you more motivation. No one's going to hand you discipline. You have to build it with your own choices. The best way to build mental strength is to start with something small and follow through completely. Pick one thing you've been avoiding and attack it head on. Not tomorrow, not when you feel like it. Now that immediate action teaches your mind to obey, not delay. And when you do that every day, it becomes your standard. You stop tolerating weakness. You stop accepting excuses. You stop letting yourself down. And that internal shift is what transforms everything. You don't need to feel powerful to start. You become powerful by starting. Every day you push yourself into discomfort. You grow. And not just mentally, you grow emotionally. You grow spiritually. You grow in character. Because doing hard things consistently rewires how you see yourself. You start to believe that you can handle anything. You start to develop self-respect, not from achievements, but from effort. Not from praise, but from showing up when no one else will. That's what mental strength really is. Showing up for yourself, especially when it's hard. Being loyal to your goals, even when motivation disappears. Making promises to yourself and keeping them, no matter how inconvenient. Mental toughness isn't loud. It's quiet. It's built in the silence, where no one gives you credit, but you do the work anyway. Stop waiting to feel ready. That feeling might never come. Action creates readiness, not the other way around. You don't wait for confidence. You build it by doing. You don't wait for clarity. You gain it through effort. You don't wait for strength. You earn it by showing up over and over again, even when it's difficult. That's the truth no one wants to hear, because it's hard. But hard is the point. Hard is what makes it meaningful. Easy doesn't change you. Comfort doesn't mold you. It's only in the struggle that you find out who you really are. It's also not about being perfect. Mental strength doesn't mean you never get tired. It doesn't mean you never doubt yourself. It means you keep going anyway. It means you don't let those emotions dictate your actions. You feel the resistance, and you move forward regardless. You learn to operate in the discomfort. You build a new relationship with pain, one where you see it as growth, not punishment. That mindset alone can change your entire trajectory. Mental strength is also about how you talk to yourself. If your self-talk is full of hesitation and fear, you have to change that narrative. Replace "I can't" with "I will." Replace "someday" with "today." Replace "maybe" with "definitely." Your thoughts will try to sabotage you, but you don't have to listen. Train yourself to think like someone who finishes, like someone who follows through, like someone who doesn't run from challenges, but runs toward them. You can't build strength by escaping. You build it by embracing the hard path. And you don't need to feel inspired. You need to feel hungry. Hungry for growth. Hungry for improvement. Hungry to stop being who you've always been and start becoming who you're meant to be. That hunger fuels discipline. That discipline builds character. And that character creates a life that no amount of comfort can match. It's time to stop waiting for the conditions to be right. They're not going to be. Conditions don't make you stronger. Decisions do. The moment you stop postponing your growth is the moment you begin transforming your life. Every second counts. Don't waste another one. Start building the strength you've been avoiding. Start creating the habits you've been delaying. Start becoming the person your potential demands. This is your time. Right here. Right now. There is no better day to start than today. The only thing standing between you and a stronger mind is the story you're still telling yourself. Change the story. Change the standard. Change your life. Number 12. Cut mindless entertainment that kills your drive. You might not realize how much it's draining you, but every hour you give to mindless entertainment is an hour you're giving away from your goals. It might seem harmless. A few minutes scrolling, an episode here, a quick video there, but it adds up. It eats your energy, your drive, and your momentum. You don't feel it immediately, but it slowly weakens your sense of urgency. It takes the edge off your ambition. And soon enough, you're comfortable doing nothing that actually moves your life forward. That's the trap. It's not obvious at first. It sneaks in quietly, disguised as harmless fun, and before you know it, you're waking up tired, distracted, and wondering where your focus went. The biggest danger isn't wasting time. It's training your mind to crave distraction. Mindless entertainment teaches your brain to avoid boredom, but boredom is necessary. Boredom is where ideas are born, where self-reflection happens, where you start thinking about what you truly want. When you fill every free second with noise, you lose your connection to yourself. You stop thinking deeply. You stop asking important questions. You stop noticing your own thoughts. And if you can't hear your own thoughts, how can you live with purpose? You don't need to quit entertainment completely. The problem is not enjoyment. The problem is overconsumption without direction. When every idle moment is filled with passive content, you stop building anything meaningful. You stop working on your goals. You stop sharpening your skills. You stop pushing yourself. Your mind becomes foggy. Your discipline fades. And over time, your self-respect drops. Because deep down, you know you're capable of more. You can't scroll your way to progress. You can't binge your way to fulfillment. You earn those things by choosing to be uncomfortable enough to work, even when distraction is easier. It's not just your time that mindless entertainment steals. It's your fire. Your inner drive doesn't stay alive on autopilot. It needs challenge. It needs tension. It needs hunger. But when you're constantly feeding your mind junk, it becomes lazy. It stops asking for more. It starts settling. You begin thinking short-term. You lose the long-term vision. That's what happens when your attention is hijacked by shallow stimulation. You stop caring about your deeper mission. You start becoming indifferent to progress. You lose that intensity that makes people unstoppable. The most dangerous thing about mindless content is that it makes you feel like you're doing something. You feel entertained, occupied, maybe even inspired for a moment, but nothing is changing. You're consuming, not creating. You're watching someone else live their life while yours is put on hold. You tell yourself it's just for a break, but breaks without boundaries turn into habits, and habits without intention turn into regret. You look up one day, and you've spent months, maybe years, distracted, comfortable, disconnected from the person you wanted to become. There's nothing wrong with entertainment in moderation, but moderation requires control, and most people have lost that. The algorithm doesn't want you to stop. The platforms don't want you to unplug. Their goal is to keep your attention, not protect your discipline. So if you don't set the limits, you'll be led by distraction every time. And the longer you follow that path, the harder it becomes to find your way back to focus. It's not just a time issue, it becomes an identity issue. You stop seeing yourself as someone capable of deep work, of focus, of serious growth. This is why you need to cut the excess. Not because it's evil, but because you have something more valuable to build. You have work to do. You have goals to accomplish. You have potential that doesn't get unlocked by watching someone else chase theirs. Your brain is the most powerful tool you'll ever have, and what you feed it matters. If you keep feeding it empty entertainment, you're training it to stay weak. But if you feed it purpose, intention, and action, you're building something strong that no one can take from you. Start noticing how you feel after spending hours on content that doesn't grow you. Notice the mental fatigue, the emotional numbness, the sense of time slipping through your fingers. That's not relaxation. That's erosion. True rest leaves you refreshed. True recovery builds you up. If your version of a break is making you feel more distracted, more tired, more disconnected from your goals, then it's not a break, it's a trap, and you need to replace it with something that actually restores you. Build habits that fuel your focus. Instead of reaching for your phone every time there's silence, sit with your thoughts. Instead of watching other people's lives for hours, invest in your own. Read something that sharpens your perspective. Write down your goals. Reflect on what's holding you back. Use your free time to build clarity instead of numbing your mind. You'll be shocked how much better your brain works when it's not being pulled in 10 different directions all day. Reclaiming your drive starts with reclaiming your attention. And to do that, you have to break the pattern. You have to be willing to feel that discomfort that comes when you stop distracting yourself. At first it's hard, You'll feel the urge to open an app, to check notifications, to escape boredom. But if you push through that urge, something powerful happens. Your brain wakes up, your focus returns, your motivation strengthens, and most importantly, you start to remember who you are without constant noise, telling you what to think, what to watch, what to want. You don't need endless stimulation. You need direction. You need something worth working toward, something worth sacrificing for, something that pulls the best out of you, that doesn't come from entertainment, that comes from intention, from setting real goals and showing up for them daily, from doing the work that builds your character, even when no one is watching, from stepping away from the noise and tuning into your purpose. Think about what you could build with the time you spend on meaningless content: a stronger body, a sharper mind, a deeper sense of peace, a business, a skill, a better version of yourself. You're not lacking potential. You're leaking energy. And the longer you ignore that, the harder it becomes to fix. But the fix is simple, even if it's not easy. Stop numbing your mind. Start feeding it things that challenge you. Stop waiting to feel ready. Start acting like you're serious about your growth. Discipline isn't just about saying no. It's about saying yes to something better. When you cut out mindless entertainment, you're not depriving yourself. You're giving yourself space to grow, space to think clearly, space to develop discipline, space to work on what matters. You're trading short-term comfort for long-term confidence. And that trade is always worth it. There's a version of you that doesn't rely on constant stimulation. A version that's sharp, driven, focused. That version isn't found in a screen. It's built in silence, in struggle, in choosing discipline when it's easier to give in. If you want to meet that version of yourself, you need to earn it. You need to do the work when it's uncomfortable. You need to make the tough choices, like cutting out the things that keep you stagnant. This isn't about being perfect. It's about being intentional. You're not a machine. You don't need to grind every second, but you do need to protect your energy. You need to defend your focus like your future depends on it, because it does. You get one life, one chance to become who you're capable of being. Don't waste it watching other people live theirs. Don't numb yourself into mediocrity. Don't let your mind become a playground for distraction when it should be a laboratory for creation. The truth is, most people won't do this. Most people will keep scrolling, keep binging, keep numbing. They'll never know what it feels like to be fully locked in. But you're not most people. You don't want average. You want clarity. You want growth. You want mastery. And that doesn't come from comfort. It comes from cutting out the things that weaken you, even when no one's forcing you to. Especially then, because that's how self-mastery begins. Not with motivation, but with decision. So decide now. Cut the noise. Protect your attention. Guard your mind. Choose discipline. Choose growth. Choose purpose over distraction. And don't wait for tomorrow. Don't tell yourself you'll stop next week. Do it now. Your mind is your most powerful asset. Don't waste it. Train it. Sharpen it. Feed it things that make it stronger. The rest will follow. Number 13. Get honest about where your focus really goes. Focus is not just about what you're looking at. It's about what you're doing with your life. Minute by minute, hour by hour. It's easy to lie to yourself and say you're focused. But if you tracked your time, your habits, your thoughts, if you really looked at what you're paying attention to, you'd see something very different. Most people overestimate how disciplined they are and underestimate how often they drift. They think they're working hard, but they're switching tasks every few minutes. They say they're chasing goals, but they're glued to notifications. They believe they're locked in, but their day is full of mental noise and wasted energy. And until you're honest about where your focus actually goes, you'll keep wondering why your progress is slow. There's nothing wrong with being distracted, if you admit it and fix it, but there's everything wrong with pretending you're focused when you're not. That lie keeps you stuck. That illusion makes you believe you're doing your best, even when your effort is scattered. If you want to grow, you need the truth, not the version that feels comfortable. The real truth about how you spend your day, what you think about when you're alone, what pulls your attention the most. Most people avoid that truth. They distract themselves from noticing how distracted they really are. They keep busy to avoid facing the fact that their busyness isn't taking them anywhere. You don't become focused by chance. You become focused by choice. And before you can choose better, you have to look closely at what you're doing now. That means auditing your day without excuses. Look at your morning. What's the first thing you do? Look at your breaks. Are they intentional or impulsive? Look at your evenings. Are they restorative or draining? Don't assume you're focused just because you feel tired. Don't assume you're disciplined just because you're busy. Tiredness is not proof of effort. Busyness is not the same as progress. You only move forward when your attention is directed with purpose. To get honest about where your focus really goes, start tracking it. Not just your tasks, but your attention. What are you thinking about when you should be working? How often do you check your phone? How many minutes of solid concentration do you actually get in a day? Not how many hours you were at your desk, but how many minutes your mind was fully engaged. The gap between time spent and attention applied is where most people lose their results. You're not falling short because you're lazy. You're falling short because your attention is split. Your energy is leaking into small things, scattered thoughts, and mindless habits. You don't need more hours in the day. You need fewer distractions in the hours you already have. But that won't happen until you're brutally honest with yourself. Not judgmental, not ashamed, just honest. It takes courage to admit you're wasting time. It takes maturity to acknowledge that you could do better. Most people avoid that feeling. They'd rather defend their habits than fix them. They'd rather justify their excuses than confront their truth. But you're not here to stay the same. You're here to become sharp, intentional, and locked in. Start with the truth. What are you focused on, really? When you say you want to grow, are you acting like it? Or are you just repeating words while your actions tell a different story? When you say you're grinding, are you really giving focused effort? Or are you jumping between apps, stopping to scroll, pausing to check who liked your last post? The truth isn't always flattering, but it's necessary. You can't change what you won't confront, and you can't confront what you're not willing to see. Focus is not a natural state anymore. In a world full of noise, it has to be built and protected. And you can't protect something you haven't even measured. If you tracked your last week honestly, you'd see patterns. You'd see what triggers your distraction. You'd notice what time of day you start drifting. You'd recognize how often you go into default mode, reacting instead of creating. You'd realize how much energy you lose to things that don't matter. That insight is your power. Once you see it clearly, you can start making changes that actually work. You don't need to guess why your progress is slow. Look at where your attention goes, and you'll find the answer. It's not just about productivity, it's about direction. If your focus is pointed at the wrong things, even if you're working hard, you'll end up in the wrong place. Energy without clarity is wasted effort. You need to align your focus with your goals, your values, your standards. That only happens when you stop lying to yourself about what you're really doing each day. This isn't about perfection. You're human. You'll get distracted. You'll lose focus. But the goal isn't to never drift. It's to become aware when you do and correct it fast. The goal is not to live like a machine, but to live with intention, to decide how you spend your day, not leave it up to impulse, to act in alignment with your priorities, not your habits. That starts by observing yourself honestly. No filters, no stories, just facts. Ask yourself hard questions. What do you do when no one's watching? How do you spend your free time? Are you building or consuming? Are you focused or avoiding? Are you creating the life you say you want? Or are you just thinking about it while doing something completely different? Don't answer those questions with emotion. Answer them with evidence. Look at your calendar. Look at your screen time. Look at your browser history. Your actions tell the real story. There's a difference between wanting focus. Most people want it. Few people commit to it. Because real focus requires sacrifice. It means saying no when distractions feel easy. It means choosing discomfort when comfort is always available. It means stepping away from the things that pull you into reaction mode and stepping into full ownership of your time. That's not something you do once. It's a mindset you build daily. And you can't build it until you know exactly where you stand right now. Awareness is the foundation of change. If you're not aware of your patterns, you can't shift them. If you're not aware of your distractions, you'll keep falling for them. If you're not aware of your attention leaks, you'll never plug them. And awareness starts with observation. Track your days, review your weeks. Notice what drains you and what drives you. See your behavior clearly, not how you want it to be, but how it actually is. Once you're honest about your current focus, you can begin to take it back, one choice at a time, one task at a time, one block of time, where you choose deep work over scattered effort. It's not about changing everything at once. It's about changing your relationship with attention. Start treating your focus like your future depends on it, because it does. Every breakthrough you want begins with focused action. Every improvement you seek demands consistent effort. And none of that is possible if your attention is always somewhere else. You can't afford to live on autopilot. Not if you want to be great. Not if you want to grow. Not if you want to live a life you're proud of. Autopilot steals your potential one moment at a time. You might not feel it today, but in a year and 5 years, you'll feel it when you realize how much time you gave to things that didn't matter. Don't let that happen. Don't look back with regret. Get clear now. Get honest now. Use the discomfort of truth to fuel your commitment to change. This is your time to refocus, to realign, to reclaim the attention you've been giving away. You won't do it perfectly, but you can do it deliberately. You can wake up and decide to track your effort. You can slow down and ask where your focus is going before each task. You can set boundaries that protect your time. You can start small, build momentum, and train your mind to stay locked in. That's how you rebuild your focus, through honest self-awareness and consistent discipline. No one's coming to fix your focus for you. No one's going to hold you accountable the way you can. This is your work. This is your edge. The people who win long-term aren't just talented. They're focused. They don't waste time on things that don't match their mission. They don't lie to themselves about how they spend their days. They know exactly where their attention is going, and they make sure it's going where it counts. You can be one of those people. You can develop the clarity, the control, and the intensity that separates real builders from the distracted majority. But it starts with truth. Start today. Start now. Track your focus. Audit your time. Review your actions. Be honest. Be relentless. And then decide who you want to be moving forward, and focus like your future depends on it. Because it does. Number 14. Take a break from social media for 30 days. Most people don't even realize how deeply social media has invaded their mind until they walk away from it. It doesn't feel like a big deal because it's so normal now. Everyone's doing it. Everyone's scrolling. Everyone's reacting. But just because it's common doesn't mean it's good for you. Just because it's popular doesn't mean it's helpful. What you need to understand is that attention is your most valuable asset. And every time you open an app without a clear purpose, you're giving a piece of that away for nothing in return. You're paying with your time, your energy, your presence, and you're getting anxiety, comparison, and distraction back. Taking a 30-day break from social media isn't about punishing yourself. It's about taking your life back. It's about noticing what you've been numbing. It's about seeing what you've been ignoring. When you cut off the stream of endless content, something powerful happens. You hear your own thoughts again. You remember what silence feels like. You begin to reconnect with your real priorities. But that only happens when you fully step away. Not when you just use it less. Not when you check it only sometimes. But when you commit to a full reset. The reason a clean break works better than moderation is simple. Your mind needs clarity, not confusion. If you're still checking just a little, the algorithm still has you. The habits are still there. The mental hooks haven't been removed. You haven't proven to yourself that you're in control yet. But when you uninstall the apps, stop checking your accounts, and walk away entirely for 30 days, you shift the power dynamic. You start to think for yourself again. You begin to notice how often you reached for your phone out of boredom. You realize how dependent you had become on constant stimulation. Most people are afraid of taking that kind of break because they don't know what to do with the quiet. They've forgotten how to sit with their own thoughts. They feel uncomfortable with stillness. That's the first sign that something needs to change. If you can't sit alone without reaching for a screen, you're not in charge of your life anymore. The moment you can't go a few hours without refreshing your feed, something else is controlling your behavior. That should scare you. Because the longer you live that way, the harder it becomes to do deep work, build discipline, or develop your character. Social media is not just stealing your time, it's softening your mind. A 30-day break will teach you more about yourself than any article, book, or podcast ever could. It's a self-audit in real time. It forces you to confront the parts of your day you were filling with noise. It reveals where your real cravings are. Do you crave attention, validation, distraction? Do you chase novelty because your routine lacks purpose? Or do you scroll because you're avoiding the hard things you know you should be doing? All of that becomes clear when the apps are gone and the silence returns. This break will challenge you in ways that are subtle but deep. At first, you'll feel the urge to check without even realizing it. Your hand will move toward your phone before your brain catches up. That's the habit at work. You'll feel it strongest in the first few days, especially in moments of boredom, loneliness, or stress. That's when you need to stay committed. That's when you need to remind yourself why you started. This isn't just about detoxing your screen time. It's about rebuilding your mental toughness. It's about learning to delay gratification. It's about breaking the cycle of compulsive behavior. Over time, something starts to shift. The noise in your head begins to quiet down. You stop thinking in captions. You stop narrating your life for others. You start experiencing your life for yourself again. You begin to notice small things: sunlight through the window, the sound of your footsteps, the clarity of your breath. You read longer. You think deeper. You sleep better. Your focus sharpens. Your anxiety lessens. You stop comparing your behind the scenes to everyone else's highlight reel. You start feeling present again. That presence is where your power is. That's what social media has been stealing from you all along. Not just your time, but your ability to stay rooted in the moment. Without constant updates, your mind gets stronger. Without scrolling, your creativity wakes up. You start thinking your own thoughts instead of reacting to everyone else's. You begin to set your own standards instead of chasing trends. You realize how many of your goals were based on what you saw, not what you truly wanted. And that clarity is priceless. This is also the time where you rediscover your capacity for boredom. And that's not a bad thing. Boredom is where ideas are born. Boredom is the birthplace of curiosity, problem solving, and insight. When you constantly escape it through stimulation, you cut off the source of your own growth. But when you sit in it, when you feel it fully, it becomes a tool. You start asking better questions. You explore forgotten passions. You reconnect with the parts of yourself that got buried under noise. You'll also find more time than you expected. Hours that used to vanish into scrolling come back. And now the question becomes, what do you do with that time? This is where most people fall short. They quit social media but don't build anything in its place. They remove the distraction, but leave the vacuum. Don't make that mistake. Use this break to develop something. Strengthen a skill. Start a project. Reconnect with reading. Journal daily. Move your body. Build new habits that serve your mind and body. Don't just subtract, replace. This break will show you that you never needed it as much as you thought. The fear of missing out will fade. The fear of being invisible will pass. The idea that you need to stay updated to stay relevant will lose its grip. You'll begin to realize that your life is happening here, now in front of you, not behind a screen. And the more you live in that truth, the less appealing the scroll becomes. The more you invest in real life, the less you want to escape it. When the 30 days are over, you'll have a decision to make. Do you go back to the old patterns, or do you set new standards? Do you reinstall the apps and fall into the same habits, or do you return with boundaries, intention, and self-control? The break itself is powerful, but the real test comes after. What did you learn? What did you gain? What will you keep? Some people decide to never go back. Others return with structure, using social media only during set hours, keeping apps off their phone, disabling notifications, unfollowing anything that drains their energy. The choice is yours. But whatever you do, don't forget what the silence taught you. Don't forget how it felt to think clearly again. Don't forget how much of your energy you were giving away without realizing it. You have one mind, you have one attention span, and the quality of your life will always reflect the quality of your focus. If you let algorithms dictate where your mind goes, you're living by default. But if you take control of your inputs, you change your outputs. You build peace. You build resilience. You build power. This isn't about hating technology. It's about using it wisely. It's about remembering that just because something is available doesn't mean it's useful. Just because everyone's doing it doesn't mean it's helping. You have the power to step away. You have the strength to rebuild your habits. And the moment you do, you start living on your own terms again. Take the break. Commit fully. Make these 30 days about reclaiming your clarity, your energy, your attention. Make them about real connection, not virtual validation. Make them about growth, not escape. Because the life you want to build requires focus, and focus can't survive in a storm of noise. You already know what you need to do. Now prove it to yourself. Disconnect to reconnect. Step away to level up. Use the silence to become stronger. Number 15. Ask yourself what you truly want every morning. Every morning before the world pulls at your mind. Before your phone lights up, before the noise of life demands your attention. You owe it to yourself to stop and ask one simple but essential question. What do I truly want? It seems like such an easy question, but most people never ask it. They live their lives responding to the world, not leading themselves. They get up, check messages, scroll through notifications, and begin their day reacting. They jump into routines that were built without clarity. They run fast without knowing the direction. And then they wonder why they feel unfulfilled, disconnected, or lost. When you wake up and ask yourself what you truly want, you interrupt the autopilot. You bring yourself back to center. You remember that this is your life. You're not here to live someone else's dream. You're not here to chase goals that don't belong to you. And you're certainly not here to waste your time doing things that drain your spirit. That one question creates space for honesty. It creates a moment of intention. And over time, it reshapes your entire direction. The point is not to always have the perfect answer. Some mornings, what you want will be crystal clear. Other days, it might feel fuzzy or uncertain. That's fine. The power isn't just in the answer. It's in the act of asking. It's in the habit of reflection. Because when you build a routine of checking in with yourself, you start to live with more presence. You become less influenced by the outside world and more connected to your inner compass. The truth is, you already know what matters to you. Deep down, you've always known. But when you stop listening, when you let the noise of the world drown it out, that knowing starts to fade. You get swept up in obligations, expectations, and distractions. You chase things you don't even care about. You pour your energy into proving things to people who don't even matter. That's what happens when you live unconsciously. That's what happens when you stop asking yourself who you are and what you want. The reason this question is so important in the morning is because it sets the tone. It tells your brain what to focus on. It reminds you that your time is limited, that your energy is precious, and that you have a say in how this day unfolds. You don't need to have it all figured out. You just need to be honest. Do you want peace, progress, growth? Do you want to move forward on something you've been avoiding? Do you want to stop wasting time and start using your potential? Asking this question also helps you avoid regret. Most people don't regret what they failed to do. They regret what they never even tried to pursue. They regret living a life that looked good, but felt empty. They regret staying silent when they should have spoken up. They regret ignoring their truth. But if you check in every day and ask yourself what you truly want, you won't drift. You'll course correct early. You'll make the small adjustments that lead to a better destination. You'll live in alignment instead of conflict. Some days the answer will surprise you. Maybe you'll realize that what you thought you wanted was never really yours. Maybe you'll see that you've been chasing approval instead of authenticity. Maybe you'll notice that you've been avoiding the very thing that would make you grow. That's good. That's clarity. That's where transformation begins. Because once you know what you want, you can start doing something about it. You can start saying no to the distractions. You can start saying yes to the discipline. You can start walking your own path instead of following someone else's. This habit also builds self-respect. When you start asking yourself what you want and then actually move toward it, you prove to yourself that your desires matter. You stop waiting for permission. You stop living passively. You start living with boldness. And that creates momentum. That builds confidence. that helps you stop settling, because you know deep down that you're not wasting your life on things that don't feed your soul. Most people think discipline is about pushing yourself through discomfort. And yes, that's part of it. But real discipline comes from clarity. When you know what you want and why it matters, you're more likely to follow through. You're more likely to stay consistent. You don't have to force motivation. You're fueled by purpose. But that purpose only stays alive if you feed it daily. That's why you can't just ask this question once a year. You can't just journal about your dreams and then forget them. You need to revisit them every morning, in a quiet moment before the noise creeps in. That morning check-in doesn't need to be long. You don't need a complex ritual. All you need is a few minutes of honesty. Sit with yourself. Breathe. Ask the question. Listen. Don't judge what comes up. Just notice it. Write it down if you want. Speak it out loud if that helps. But keep asking. Keep coming back to the question. Because every time you do, you're reminding yourself that this is your life and you're not going to sleepwalk through it. This simple practice can change the trajectory of your days, and your days become your weeks. Your weeks become your months. Your months become your years, and your years become your legacy. If you want to live a focused, meaningful life, it begins with the small things. It begins with self-awareness. It begins with asking better questions. Because the quality of your questions will always determine the quality of your direction. You don't need to chase 100 goals. You just need to know which one matters most right now. You don't need to impress everyone. You just need to honor yourself. You don't need to predict the future. You just need to stay aligned with your truth today. And the more you do that, the stronger you become. Not because everything is easy, but because you're no longer wasting your energy on things that don't matter. Most people get lost because they never check the map. They just keep moving, hoping it will all work out. But if you stop each day and ask where you're going and why, you'll walk with more purpose. You'll notice when you drift. You'll catch yourself before the detour becomes a dead end. That's the power of self-check-ins. They don't just help you find direction, they help you stay on course. You'll also notice that this question builds emotional awareness, because sometimes what you truly want isn't external. Maybe you want peace, maybe you want healing, maybe you want forgiveness, maybe you want to feel grounded. Those are not goals you can measure with metrics, but they matter just as much, sometimes more. And when you're honest about those inner needs, you stop numbing them. You start facing them. And that's how real inner strength is built. Asking what you want also reveals what you've been tolerating. You'll start to see the areas of your life where you've been settling, shrinking, or compromising. And when you see those clearly, you have a choice: stay the same or start shifting. That's why this habit is not just about clarity, it's about courage. Because once you see the truth, you can't unsee it. And then it's on you to do something about it. The most powerful part of this is that it builds a habit of living consciously. Most people live in reaction. They let life happen to them. But if you ask this one question every morning, you start creating life instead of just surviving it. You stop running from yourself and start running toward who you could become. You make your choices from a place of alignment instead of confusion. You don't need a perfect morning routine. You don't need all the answers. You just need to make space each day to connect with what's real for you. What do you care about? What are you willing to fight for? What do you want to create, build, or become? Keep asking, keep listening, keep moving forward. It's not about perfection. It's about presence. And the more present you are, the more power you have to shape your life intentionally. One question, asked consistently, can reshape your focus, rebuild your discipline, and reignite your passion. Don't underestimate the impact of that. Don't overlook the simplicity. Don't wait for the perfect time to start. Begin tomorrow morning, before the world speaks. Speak to yourself. Ask what you want, then go live like it matters. Number 16. Do the thing you've been putting off today. There's a feeling we all know too well. The one that comes from putting something off. It's that gnawing sense of knowing you need to act, but delaying it for one reason or another. You tell yourself you'll do it tomorrow, or next week, or when the time is right. You convince yourself that you'll start once everything falls into place, once your circumstances improve, or once you've gathered the courage. But here's the harsh truth. That day might never come unless you make it today. The only time that is certain is the present. The only action you can take is the one right in front of you. And if you keep postponing the hard things, the things that matter, you're only robbing yourself of progress. You're giving power to procrastination. Procrastination thrives in the delay, in the false belief that tomorrow will be easier or better. But here's the reality. Tomorrow is just another day filled with its own set of distractions, its own set of reasons to keep waiting. The longer you wait, the more you deepen the habit of avoidance. The more you make it easier to put things off, to dodge the discomfort of getting started. The more you convince yourself that tomorrow will be the day you change your habits, make the call, send the email, or take the first step. But as you wait, your dreams get further away. Your goals become harder to reach, and the thing you've been avoiding, it just keeps getting bigger, more overwhelming, more intimidating. So today, make the decision to do the thing you've been putting off. It doesn't matter what it is, whether it's a phone call that's been on your mind for weeks, a project you've been avoiding because it feels too big, or a conversation you're scared to have. Today is the day to tackle it. Don't wait. Don't give yourself another excuse. Don't let another day go by with this weight hanging over you. Take a breath, gather your courage, and take that first step. The hardest part of any task is the start. Once you begin, momentum builds. Once you take that first step, the next one becomes easier. And before you know it, you'll be closer to the finish line than you ever thought possible. The key is to stop negotiating with yourself. Every time you delay, you're bargaining with your future. You're telling yourself that tomorrow will be easier, but the truth is that it won't be. Tomorrow will have its own set of challenges, and tomorrow will have its own distractions. The best time to start is right now. The longer you wait, the harder it gets. And the longer you wait, the more you reinforce the belief that starting is something to fear, something to avoid. But in reality, action is the antidote to fear. Action is the way forward. Think about it. What have you been putting off for weeks, months, or even years? Maybe it's a difficult conversation with someone you care about. Maybe it's a decision you've been avoiding because you're scared of the outcome. Maybe it's a goal you keep telling yourself you'll achieve someday. Here's the truth. There's no better time than now. The more you delay, the more you reinforce the fear that's keeping you stuck. The more you make your dreams feel out of reach. But by taking action today, even in small steps, you're breaking that cycle. You're telling yourself that you're stronger than your excuses, more capable than your fears, and more committed to your future than to the comfort of delay. You might not be able to control every aspect of your situation. You might not be able to make every problem disappear or clear every obstacle from your path. But what you can control is your response. You can choose to take action right now. You can choose to stop making excuses. You can choose to stop waiting for the perfect moment to act. The perfect moment doesn't exist. The only moment that matters is this one. And the only way you can start to move forward is by making the decision to do the thing you've been putting off right now. It might feel uncomfortable. You might feel resistance, but that resistance is a sign that you're pushing against something important. That discomfort is the signal that you're growing, that you're moving beyond your comfort zone, that you're about to make real change. Embrace it, lean into it. The more you take action in the face of resistance, the more you build your mental strength. The more you train yourself to face discomfort head on, the more you show yourself that you're capable of more than you thought. And here's the best part. When you make the decision to do the thing you've been putting off, you'll feel an immense sense of relief afterward. It's the feeling of a weight lifted off your shoulders. It's the satisfaction of knowing that you no longer have to carry that task around with you. It's the freedom that comes from taking action. And it's the confidence that builds when you prove to yourself that you can follow through, even when it's tough. So today, make the decision to act. Don't wait for the right time, because it will never come. Don't wait for motivation to strike, because motivation follows action. The moment you take that first step, you create the momentum you need to keep going. And the more you act, the easier it becomes to keep acting. The more you face your fears and do the things that scare you, the less power those fears will have over you. Take a moment to reflect. What have you been avoiding? What is the one thing that's been weighing on your mind that you know you need to do but have been putting off? Whatever it is, today is the day. Don't let another day pass with that task hanging over you. Don't let another day go by where you feel the weight of procrastination. Take action now. Start small if you need to, but start. The sooner you start, the sooner you'll finish. And the sooner you finish, the sooner you'll realize that the thing you were avoiding wasn't as hard as you thought. Remember, action is the antidote to doubt. Action is the answer to procrastination. Action is what moves you from where you are to where you want to be. And all you have to do is take that first step. Today, right now. Number 17, own your focus, or life will own your time. Life is a constant battle for your focus. Every day you're bombarded by distractions, emails, phone calls, social media notifications, the noise of the world around you, and even your own thoughts pulling you in a million different directions. In a world where attention is the most valuable resource, the struggle to control it is relentless. If you don't take charge of your focus, life will take charge of your time. And soon enough, you'll find yourself on a path you never intended to walk. Focus is not a luxury, it's a necessity. Without it, your efforts become fragmented, your productivity suffers, and your goals drift further and further out of reach. When you let distractions control your focus, they control your time. And time is the one thing you can never get back. Every minute you spend mindlessly scrolling through your phone or being pulled into someone else's agenda is a minute you'll never reclaim. The reality is simple. Either you own your focus or life will own your time, and that choice will determine whether you achieve the success and fulfillment you seek. Focus is the foundation of all productivity, success, and growth. Without it, even the best plans fall apart. You can have all the skills, all the knowledge, and all the resources. But if you can't concentrate on the task at hand, none of it matters. Focus allows you to take your ambitions and turn them into results. It's the ability to block out the noise, tune out distractions, and give your undivided attention to what's important. It's not easy, but it's the price you pay for progress. The biggest obstacle to focus is the constant barrage of distractions that surround us. In today's world, distractions are more pervasive than ever. Social media, emails, text messages, and the endless stream of information we're exposed to create an environment where it's almost impossible to concentrate. The digital world is designed to keep you engaged, to capture your attention at every turn, to make sure you never have a moment of stillness. And if you let it, it will consume you. It will pull you away from what truly matters and fill your time with noise and clutter. But here's the truth. Distractions are a choice. Every time you pick up your phone to check notifications, every time you allow your mind to wander to things that don't serve your goals, you're choosing to let something outside of you control your focus. The good news is that you have the power to change that. You can choose to take back control. You can choose to eliminate distractions, to train your mind to focus, and to make time for the things that matter most to you. The first step is to recognize that your time is precious. Every minute you waste is a minute you'll never get back. Once you understand that, you'll begin to realize the importance of protecting your focus. Time is not infinite. You cannot afford to let your focus be hijacked by things that don't align with your purpose, your goals, or your vision. You must decide consciously to prioritize the things that matter most. Once you've made that decision, the next step is to train your mind. Focus is like a muscle. It gets stronger the more you exercise it. But just like any muscle, if you don't use it, it will weaken to strengthen your focus. You need to practice it every day. This means setting aside time to work on your most important tasks, free from distractions. It means turning off notifications, putting your phone on silent, and creating an environment that is conducive to concentration. It means committing to your work even when it's hard, and even when your mind tries to wander. The key to building focus is to practice mindfulness. Being mindful of your thoughts and actions helps you become aware of when your focus starts to slip. It helps you catch yourself when you're about to be pulled away by distractions. By becoming aware of the small moments when your mind drifts, you can gently guide it back to where it needs to be. It's about cultivating a heightened sense of awareness so you can take control of your attention in real time. But mindfulness alone won't get you where you want to go. You also need to cultivate the discipline to stay focused, even when the work gets difficult or tedious. Discipline is what keeps you on track when motivation wanes. It's what allows you to power through the tough moments, to keep your eyes on the prize, and to push forward when the temptation to give up is strong. Discipline is the backbone of focus. Without it, your best intentions will fall apart. The environment you create around yourself also plays a significant role in maintaining focus. Your physical space should support your mental focus. A cluttered desk or a chaotic workspace can make it harder for you to concentrate. Disorganization breeds distraction. If you want to stay focused, you need to design your environment to minimize distractions and to promote concentration. Clean up your workspace. Organize your materials. Set boundaries with others to protect your time. Make sure everything around you is aligned with your goal of maintaining focus. One of the most important things to understand about focus is that it's not just about what you're doing right now, it's about what you choose to leave behind. Every time you focus on one task, you're saying no to 100 other things. It's about making conscious choices about where you invest your time and energy. That means saying no to distractions, saying no to the temptation of social media, saying no to the constant urge to check your phone. It means saying yes to the work that matters most, to the tasks that will move you closer to your goals. Focus requires sacrifice. It requires you to be willing to let go of the things that don't matter in order to make space for the things that do. Another aspect of focus that often gets overlooked is rest. You cannot maintain intense focus all day long. Your brain needs breaks to recharge, to refresh, and to regain clarity. Without proper rest, your focus will suffer. Taking regular breaks throughout the day, getting enough sleep at night, and engaging in activities that help you relax and de-stress are essential for maintaining peak focus. It's also important to recognize that focus is not an all-or-nothing proposition. It's not about being hyper-focused 100% of the time. Instead, it's about being intentional with your focus. It's about knowing when to give your full attention to something and when to allow yourself a break. The more you practice focusing on what's important, the better you'll get at it. You'll become more skilled at tuning out distractions, more adept at keeping your attention on what matters, and more capable of protecting your time from being stolen by things that don't serve your purpose. Owning your focus means owning your life. It means taking control of your time, your decisions, and your future. The more you can protect your focus, the more you'll accomplish, the more you'll move toward your goals, and the more you'll build the life you want. Time is your most valuable asset. Protect it fiercely. Guard it with everything you've got. When you own your focus, you own your time. And when you own your time, you own your life. Number 18. Create a plan and follow it without emotion. Creating a plan and following it without emotion is one of the most powerful disciplines you can adopt to achieve sustained success in any area of your life. The beauty of a well-crafted plan lies in its clarity, its direction, and its ability to remove the chaos that often surrounds decision-making. The reality, however, is that emotions often get in the way. In moments of doubt, frustration, or even excitement, our emotions can skew our judgment and divert us from the straight path laid out by our plan. But success is not built on emotional reactions. It's built on consistent, rational actions that are driven by a clear plan. A plan should not be a guide that fluctuates with the highs and lows of your feelings. It should be a steadfast map that leads you from where you are now to where you want to be, regardless of how you feel about it at any given moment. When you create a plan, you essentially make a commitment to yourself, a commitment to move forward, to take deliberate actions, and to consistently execute the necessary steps toward your goals. The problem is that many people don't stick to their plans. They start off strong, motivated by their dreams and ambitions. But as time goes on, they allow their emotions to dictate their actions. They get frustrated when things don't go as expected. They get discouraged when progress seems slow. And they allow their excitement to push them into actions that are not aligned with their long-term vision. The ability to follow your plan without emotion is what will separate you from those who are merely trying to get by versus those who are striving for true success. It's important to understand that emotion is not inherently bad. Emotions can be powerful motivators, and they can give you the energy you need to get started. However, when emotions begin to dominate your decisions, that's when things get tricky. Imagine trying to navigate a ship based on the ever-changing tides of the ocean. The ocean's mood will change with every storm, and soon enough, you'll find yourself lost at sea. But if you have a clear map and a strong compass, no matter how the tides shift, you'll know exactly where you need to go. This is what a solid plan provides, a sense of direction that isn't swayed by the changing emotional landscape. The first step in creating a plan is understanding exactly what you want to achieve. It's not enough to say, I want to be successful, or I want to lose weight. Those are vague goals that don't provide you with any tangible action steps. Instead, define exactly what success looks like for you. Be specific about the outcome you desire. If you want to improve your physical health, for example, your plan could involve a specific exercise routine, a nutrition plan, and a set of measurable milestones to track your progress. If you want to grow your business, your plan should include clear objectives, marketing strategies, and timelines for achieving each goal. Once you have clarity on your goals, the next step is to break them down into manageable steps. This is where many people fail. They create a vague vision of the future, but fail to map out the small, actionable steps necessary to make that vision a reality. A plan without action steps is just a dream. Break down each goal into specific tasks. If you want to build a business, this could involve tasks like conducting market research, developing a business model, creating a website, and building a customer base. If you're trying to lose weight, it could involve scheduling workouts, meal prepping, tracking your progress, and making adjustments along the way. The most crucial aspect of this process is creating a schedule for these tasks. The schedule will act as your roadmap, and it will keep you on track even when emotions try to derail you. When you set a deadline or commit to a certain activity, your focus should be on the task at hand, not on how you feel in the moment. This is where the discipline to follow through comes into play. You need to commit to doing the work, even when you don't feel like it, even when the excitement fades, and even when the challenges arise. In these moments, the power of a well-designed plan becomes evident. You don't have to rely on fleeting feelings of motivation to stay on track, because your plan is already telling you exactly what you need to do next. Another key element of following a plan without emotion is learning how to handle setbacks. It's easy to be emotionally invested in your success, but the reality is that success rarely follows a straight line. There will be bumps in the road, detours, and unforeseen challenges. How you respond to these challenges will determine whether you stick to your plan or abandon it altogether. The person who can face setbacks with a calm and rational mindset, and who can adjust their plan without emotional turmoil, will ultimately be the one who achieves their goals. Failure is not the opposite of success. It's a part of the process. When things don't go as planned, instead of becoming discouraged or frustrated, look at it as an opportunity to learn and adjust. Don't let the emotions of failure cloud your judgment or cause you to abandon the course. Instead, recalibrate, adjust your plan if necessary, and keep moving forward. One of the biggest emotional traps you can fall into is the desire for instant gratification. We live in a world where everything is on demand, and waiting for results can feel like a test of patience. But success doesn't happen overnight, and your plan is designed to take you step by step toward your goals. When you focus on the small tasks and trust in the process, you will eventually start to see the compound effects of your efforts. Stay committed to the plan, even when you can't see the immediate payoff, and don't let your emotions get the best of you when progress seems slow. The key is persistence. No matter how small the steps, each one is bringing you closer to the desired outcome. The process of following a plan without emotion also requires a great deal of self-awareness. You need to be aware of when your emotions are trying to take over and derail your progress. This might come in the form of impatience, self-doubt, frustration, or even overconfidence. Self-awareness allows you to catch yourself in these emotional states before they influence your decisions. When you're able to detach from the emotional highs and lows, you'll be better equipped to evaluate your progress rationally and make adjustments when needed. This leads us to the importance of feedback. A solid plan should always include a system for tracking progress and gathering feedback. As you move forward, it's important to periodically assess where you are and whether you're on track to meet your goals. If you're not making the progress you expected, don't react emotionally. Instead, use the data to make adjustments. Perhaps you need to allocate more time to a certain task, adjust your approach, or seek outside guidance. This process of constant feedback and refinement is what ensures long-term success. It keeps you from getting stuck in emotional ruts or blindly following a plan that isn't working. Lastly, the strength of a plan comes in its ability to provide clarity and direction, especially when life becomes chaotic or overwhelming. In those moments when everything seems out of control, your plan serves as your anchor. It reminds you of the bigger picture, of why you started in the first place, and of the actionable steps you need to take in order to move forward. Without a plan, you risk getting lost in the noise of daily life, reacting emotionally to every challenge, and ultimately getting nowhere. With a plan, you have a clear path forward, regardless of the external circumstances. In conclusion, the ability to create a plan and follow it without emotion is a skill that can transform your life. It allows you to consistently move forward, stay on track during difficult times, and make rational decisions that are aligned with your long-term vision. By focusing on the plan and not on the emotions that arise along the way, you give yourself the best possible chance of success. So take the time to create a plan, commit to it, and stay disciplined. Let go of the emotional roller coaster and watch as you build the life you've always wanted, one steady step at a time. Number 19. Stop chasing approval and chase your own goals. For many people, the constant desire for approval is one of the greatest distractions from their personal growth and true potential. This desire can subtly take control of our lives, shaping our decisions and actions in ways that align more with the expectations of others than with our own desires. We find ourselves seeking validation from friends, family, coworkers, or even strangers, hoping that the opinions of others will give us the confirmation we need to feel validated, successful, or worthy. The problem with this constant search for approval is that it creates an endless loop, a cycle of reliance on external opinions that rarely lead to true fulfillment or success. When you chase approval, you are not living for yourself. You are living to meet the standards of others, and often, these standards are vague, unrealistic, or misaligned with your true potential. The pursuit of external validation often leads to frustration, because no matter how much approval you receive, it's never enough. It becomes a moving target, and you end up stuck in a constant state of seeking more and more approval, while your own goals and dreams are pushed to the side. The reality is that approval from others, whether it's from your peers, your colleagues, or even your family, is ultimately fleeting. People will always have their own opinions, preferences, and biases. What pleases one person may not satisfy another, and this inconsistency can leave you feeling perpetually unsatisfied. It's only when you stop chasing the approval of others and start pursuing your own goals, dreams, and values that you can truly begin to make progress. So why do we chase approval in the first place? It's often rooted in a deep-seated fear of rejection or failure. We fear that if we don't fit in or meet certain expectations, we won't be accepted or valued. This fear can be paralyzing, causing us to shrink from pursuing our true passions and potential. We start to prioritize the desires of others over our own. This fear of judgment can make us hesitant to take risks or step outside of our comfort zones. But in the process, we end up sacrificing our authentic selves and living a life that isn't true to who we really are. One of the first steps in breaking free from the cycle of chasing approval is recognizing that it's okay to disappoint others. It's okay to not meet someone else's expectations if those expectations aren't aligned with your own values or goals. It's a hard truth, but an essential one. Your path in life is yours alone, and it's not meant to be molded by the desires of others. The moment you realize this, the pressure of constantly seeking approval starts to fade. You begin to reclaim your time, your energy, and most importantly, your focus. When you start chasing your own goals, you shift your focus from seeking validation to building something meaningful and fulfilling. Instead of looking outside yourself for approval, you look within. You start to trust your instincts, follow your passions, and prioritize what matters most to you. And it's in this space of internal validation that true growth happens. No longer do you need to measure your worth by the standards of others. Your worth is found in the pursuit of your own goals, the progress you make, and the resilience you develop along the way. One of the key elements of chasing your own goals is setting clear personal objectives that are meaningful to you, not based on what others expect from you. These goals should be deeply connected to your values, passions, and aspirations. When you set goals that resonate with your inner drive, you create a sense of purpose that fuels your actions. It's no longer about pleasing others or meeting their expectations. It's about creating a life that you're proud of, that reflects who you truly are. Another powerful aspect of chasing your own goals is the freedom it gives you. When you stop seeking external validation, you free yourself from the shackles of judgment, comparison, and societal pressure. This freedom allows you to explore, experiment, and grow without the fear of failure or rejection holding you back. You become more open to new experiences, more willing to take risks, and more focused on what truly brings you joy and fulfillment. And the best part is, this freedom is yours to create and shape, independent of what anyone else thinks or says. Chasing your own goals also means taking full ownership of your life. You stop blaming external circumstances or the opinions of others for your lack of progress. Instead, you take responsibility for the direction of your life and commit to making intentional choices that align with your true desires. This self-ownership is empowering because it means that your future is in your hands. You are no longer at the mercy of others' opinions or expectations. You are the one steering the ship. As you embark on the journey of chasing your own goals, it's important to acknowledge that the road won't always be easy. There will be obstacles, setbacks, and challenges along the way. But the beauty of pursuing your own goals is that these obstacles become opportunities for growth. When you're focused on your own journey, you develop the resilience and determination needed to push through difficulties, adapt to challenges, and keep moving forward. You learn to rely on your inner strength rather than seeking comfort or reassurance from others. It's also crucial to remember that progress is not always linear. You may experience periods of doubt, frustration, or confusion, but that's part of the process. These moments don't mean that you're on the wrong path or that you should abandon your goals. They're simply part of the journey. The key is to keep moving forward, even when the road gets tough. When you chase your own goals, you learn to embrace the ups and downs as part of your growth, knowing that each step, whether forward or backward, is leading you closer to the person you're meant to become. One of the greatest benefits of chasing your own goals is the sense of fulfillment that comes with it. Unlike the temporary satisfaction of gaining approval from others, the fulfillment that comes from pursuing your own dreams is lasting and deeply meaningful. When you achieve something that you've worked for, something that aligns with your values and desires, you experience a sense of pride and satisfaction that no amount of external approval can match. It's a sense of fulfillment that comes from within, and it's the only type of approval that truly matters. In the end, the decision to stop chasing approval and start chasing your own goals is one of the most empowering choices you can make. It's a decision to live for yourself, to prioritize your own dreams, and to take full ownership of your life. It's a decision to stop seeking validation from others and to start seeking validation from within. By focusing on your own goals, you align yourself with your true purpose, and you create a life that is deeply fulfilling, meaningful, and authentic. And when you live in alignment with your own values, the approval of others becomes irrelevant, because the only approval you'll ever need is your own. Number 20. Get clear about what actually matters right now. In the fast-paced world we live in, it's easy to become overwhelmed by distractions and lose sight of what truly matters. Every day, we are bombarded with countless demands on our attention, from work and personal responsibilities to the noise of social media and the endless information we're fed. With so much coming at us from all directions, it becomes increasingly difficult to distinguish between what's important and what's simply noise. But if we want to live a life that is meaningful and aligned with our true purpose, we must get clear about what actually matters right now. The key to this clarity lies in understanding that not all tasks, responsibilities, and distractions are created equal. There are things in our lives that deserve our immediate focus and energy, and there are others that are merely pulling us away from what's important. But how do we determine what truly matters? It starts with a deep and honest assessment of our priorities. It requires us to pause, step back, and ask ourselves some fundamental questions about what we want to achieve, where we want to go, and who we want to become. One of the first things we need to do is strip away the external pressures that influence our decisions. So often we let the expectations of others dictate our choices. We feel obligated to follow certain paths because of societal norms, family pressures, or the influence of peers. But living for the approval of others is not the same as living a life that matters to us. When we seek approval, we are often distracted by the opinions and values of others, rather than being guided by our own internal compass. To get clear about what matters, we must block out the noise and focus on what resonates with us on a deep, personal level. This process involves getting in touch with our core values. Our values are the principles and beliefs that guide us in life. They define what we hold most dear and what we're willing to fight for. Whether it's family, health, personal growth, or making a meaningful impact in the world, our values provide us with the clarity we need to discern between what is essential and what is merely a distraction. By getting clear on our values, we can align our actions with our deepest desires and goals. Next, we need to ask ourselves what truly matters right now. This question is especially important because life is constantly changing. What was important to us a year ago may no longer be as relevant today. Our priorities evolve as we grow, and the things that once demanded our attention may no longer hold the same weight. In some cases, we may find that the things we've been working toward are no longer aligned with our current values or vision. This realization can be uncomfortable, but it's also an opportunity to course correct and realign our efforts with what truly matters in this moment. To gain clarity, we must also take stock of our current situation. What are the pressing challenges we face right now? What are the obstacles preventing us from making progress toward our goals? What do we need to address in the immediate term in order to move forward? It's easy to become distracted by long-term goals or hypothetical concerns about the future. But the truth is that the present moment is the only time we have control over. By focusing on what needs to be done right now, we can create momentum and begin making tangible progress. One powerful tool to help us get clear about what matters is to simplify our lives. We live in a world where excess and complexity are often celebrated, but the more complicated our lives become, the more difficult it is to focus on what truly matters. Simplifying our schedules, our possessions, and our commitments allows us to create space for the things that matter most. When we clear out the clutter, both physical and mental, we make room for what is essential. It's also important to recognize that not everything deserves our attention. Many of us fall into the trap of trying to do it all, juggling multiple responsibilities, pursuing too many goals, and constantly seeking approval from others. But this kind of overextension leads to burnout and leaves us feeling unfulfilled. To get clear about what truly matters, we must be willing to let go of the things that no longer serve us. This might mean cutting back on commitments that drain our energy, or saying no to opportunities that don't align with our core values. One of the most effective ways to gain clarity is through regular reflection. Taking time each day or week to reflect on what's working and what's not allows us to reassess our priorities and make adjustments as needed. During these moments of reflection, we can ask ourselves important questions, such as, are the actions I'm taking today moving me closer to my long-term goals? Am I focusing on the right things? Am I investing my time and energy in areas that will yield the greatest returns? This kind of reflection requires us to be honest with ourselves. It's easy to get caught up in the rush of daily life and justify our actions without truly considering their impact. But the more we practice self-awareness and take the time to check in with ourselves, the easier it becomes to stay focused on what truly matters. Another crucial aspect of getting clear about what matters right now is learning to prioritize. Not everything on our to-do list is equally important, and not everything deserves our immediate attention. To focus on what truly matters, we must be willing to prioritize the tasks and responsibilities that will have the greatest impact on our lives. This means making intentional decisions about where to allocate our time and energy. It might involve saying no to less important tasks or postponing things that can wait. By prioritizing, we create space for the things that truly align with our values and goals. As we work to get clear about what truly matters, it's also important to take care of ourselves. Our health, both physical and mental, is a vital component of our ability to focus on what matters. When we neglect our well-being, we rob ourselves of the energy and clarity needed to make the right decisions. Practicing self-care, whether it's through exercise, meditation, proper nutrition, or getting enough rest, ensures that we have the physical and mental strength to tackle the challenges that lie ahead. Finally, it's important to remember that clarity is not something we can achieve once and for all. Life is fluid, and our priorities will continue to shift as we evolve. The key is to remain flexible and adaptable, willing to reassess our goals and values as circumstances change. By doing so, we can ensure that we are always aligned with what truly matters, both in the short term and in the long term. The process of getting clear about what matters right now is an ongoing journey. It requires us to stay present, to be honest with ourselves, and to take deliberate action toward the things that will bring us fulfillment and success. By making this a priority, we free ourselves from the noise and distractions that hold us back, and we create a life that is truly focused on what matters most. It's not always easy, but the rewards are immeasurable. A life filled with purpose, clarity, and a deep sense of satisfaction that comes from knowing you're doing what truly matters in the present moment.